the school beauty's personal bodyguard. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 701 I'm so angry. Are you looking for me? Lin Yi's voice rang out from behind Yu Xiaoke. Yu Xiaoke was startled and shuddered, her scalp tingling. How could this person appear behind her without a sound? You, why did you get behind me? Yu Xiaoke came to her senses and looked at Lin Yi warily. Was this person a ghost? Aren't you asking someone? Lin Yi asked back. Yu Xiaoke stared at Lin Yi, not knowing what to say. With your limited skills, you still want to learn tracking? You should go home and take a rest. This world is actually very dangerous. It's incredible that someone like you can survive until now. Lin Yi looked at Yu Xiaoke with some sympathy. He was the more upright one. If it was someone with some evil intentions, Yu Xiaoke would have nowhere to cry. You are incredible. Yu Xiaoke looked at Lin Yi angrily. Hey, are you in the same industry? Yu Xiaoke felt that Lin Yi might be in the same industry. Otherwise, how could you be so proficient in the art of stealing and so elusive? Hey, if you practice for a few more years, maybe you can become a colleague. Lin Yi smiled. Since you're so good, then accept my challenge. Yu Xiaoke provoked him. Hey, are you afraid of losing, so you don't dare to accept the challenge? If you think so, then so be it. Lin Yi shrugged and said, don't follow me, you can't keep up with me. Yu Xiaoke was really at her wit's end. Faced with someone like Lin Yi who wouldn't give in to any persuasion, what could she do? Gritting her teeth, Yu Xiaoke reluctantly said, then can you give me back my wallet? Oh, here you go. It's useless to me, Lin Yi readily agreed. Yu Xiaoke was overjoyed and was about to thank him when she saw her large wallet flying towards her. She quickly caught it. However, she was stunned. The wallet was empty. Not a penny left of her over 10,000 yuan. Hey, where's my money? Yu Xiaoke felt like she had been tricked. You just want the wallet, not the money. Lin Yi smiled and left quickly. Remember my words, go back and practice for a few years before coming out, otherwise it will be over sooner or later. Also, it's hard for me to understand, are you really kind-hearted, or are you taking the opportunity of blaming me to steal my wallet? Your way of committing the crime is not very pleasing to people. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Yu Xiaoke looked at Lin Yi's departing back, stomping her feet angrily, as if she wanted to crush Lin Yi. I'll step on you to death, step on you to death. Let you be so arrogant, let you pretend to be cool with me, let you despise me, let you My foot. Yu Xiaoke stepped on a stone and almost broke her foot. Lin Yi turned a corner and returned to the hospital. He saw the beggar still begging there. When he saw Lin Yi, his eyes were a little evasive, but Lin Yi didn't want to do anything to the beggar at all. Whether he was a liar or not had nothing to do with him. In the nurse's office upstairs, Lin Yi saw Tang Yun, Xiaofen, and Guanxin, who had just returned from a follow-up visit. Guanxin blushed slightly when she saw Lin Yi come in, and wanted to say something, but when she saw Tang Yun, she held back. Instead, Lin Yi took the initiative to greet Guanxin. Xixing, is Xiaofen okay now? Lin Yi could see that Xiaofen was in much better spirits. Her illness stemmed from her heart, and now that the knot had been untied, the problem wasn't serious. It was just the after effects from before that still needed to be controlled with medication. It's nothing. The doctor said that if I don't have another attack, I don't need to come to the hospital again. Guanxin shook her head. Thank you for your help. Lin Yi nodded. I met Grandpa Guan today, but he was a little busy. I will visit him another day. Yes, Guanxin nodded. She wanted to say that she wanted to cook for Lin Yi, but Tang Yun was there too, so she didn't want to say it directly for fear that she would misunderstand. After hesitating for a moment, she said, Tang Yun, why don't you come too? I'll cook for you. I won't go. I'm very busy recently. My family lost their house and I don't know what to do. Tang Yun was a little embarrassed to go, as if she didn't trust Lin Yi. It would seem a bit petty. In response to Guanxin's invitation, Tang Yun said, I have troubled you a lot with Xiaofen and my father's matters. I should treat you. When my family has a house, I will make barbecue for you, okay? Guanxin agreed with a smile. As they were talking, someone called Guanxin from the door, and she went off to work. Lin Yi and Tang Yun went to Tang Zhecheng's ward. Kang Xiaobo, Xiaofen, and Liu Xinwen had gone ahead. They knew Tang Yun's family was looking for Lin Yi to discuss housing matters, so they didn't want to get involved. "Uncle Tang, how are you feeling?" Lin Yi saw that Tang Zhichen was actually walking with the help of a cane, demonstrating his remarkable recovery. "Not bad. Much better than after the last surgery. Your Chinese medicine is really effective." Even the doctors at the hospital were amazed. Tang Zhichen smiled. "But they asked for the prescription, but I didn't give it to them. I said it was a purchased over-the-counter medicine, without a formula." Lin Yi nodded. It seemed Tang Zhichen wasn't a pedantic person, he was quite astute. He knew this prescription was valuable and shouldn't be given away carelessly. This formula for promoting bone growth and recovery could be mass-produced, bringing significant economic benefits. "Don't give me the prescription. If anyone asks again, just say it was Professor Guan Zuman who prescribed it for you, and they won't ask any more." Lin Yi found a shield for Tang Zhichen. In the medical system, Guan Zuman's prestige is irreplaceable. "By the way, Uncle Tang, Aunt Wang, Tang Yun said you were looking for me." "Yes, Zai, I was thinking of talking to you about buying a house. It's not a good idea for us to stay in the hospital all the time. The hospital bill is more expensive than a hotel per day. It's not cost-effective." Although the money was not paid by Tang's mother, she also felt distressed. "Wouldn't it be great if Lin Yi gave it to her?" "That's right. The hospital is not as good as your own home." Lin Yi nodded. He had overlooked this point before because Lin Yi himself had no fixed place to live and was accustomed to this kind of displaced life. But Tang Yun's family was different. They were just ordinary people. Without a sense of home, it was indeed very uncomfortable. "Yet, I can get out of bed now, and I always want to find something to do. I used to get bored of lying in bed," Tang Zhichen also said, "but to do things, you must have a foothold. I can't look for work while I'm in the hospital, right?" Chapter 702 Special Offer Room. What's the news about the shantytown demolition? Any progress? Lin Yi hadn't been paying attention to young Master Bing these days. He had only heard that he'd started building the Kaibing building again, this time with a very efficient construction company, and the frame was reportedly already up. Of course, even though Lin Yi had demolished his house and broken his leg, his business still had to continue, and the shantytown demolition still had to go on. He just didn't know if he'd learned his lesson. They said they'd call a meeting soon to discuss compensation. After the last incident, their prices should probably go up a bit, but probably not too much. Tang's mother sighed. "We've lost our house, so we'll take whatever compensation we can get. I don't want to think about it anymore. Now I'm thinking, should we rent a place or buy one?" Lin Yi couldn't really intervene in the compensation matter. He couldn't just go back to Zhao Kaibing and threaten him into paying her some money, could he? Since he'd just collapsed his building, it was a fair enough settlement, so he'd let him off for now. If Zhao Kaibing knew what Lin Yi was thinking, he'd probably be furious. Trading a mansion for a shabby bungalow, and barely enough, isn't that a rip-off? Let's buy a house. Renting isn't an option, Lin Yi thought. Buying a house is always less of a hassle than renting. "Buy a house," Tang's mother said, a little distressed. Tang Zhichen and Tang Yun had previously suggested buying a house, and now with the 500,000 yuan Lin Yi had given them, plus some money they'd saved before, they had more than enough to buy a larger place. But Tang's mother didn't want to spend all that money all at once. That would mean the family would lose their savings, and the feeling of wealth she'd finally had would be gone. Lin Yi saw Tang's mother's pained expression, and how could he not understand her thoughts? He smiled faintly and said, "Auntie Wang, I know a friend who used to work in real estate development. He should know a lot of developers. I'll give him a call and ask if he has any special offers or anything like that." "Okay, that's great. Can you help me?" Tang's mother's inherent greed for small profits remained unchanged. Hearing that Lin Yi could get a special offer immediately perked up. Even if Lin Yi couldn't get the discounted house, Tang Zhichen and Tang Yun's insistence would have still persuaded her mother to buy it. But since Lin Yi could save money by using his connections, why not? Tang's mother was delighted to have consulted Lin Yi about this matter, rather than foolishly rushing out to buy the house, which would have been a huge loss. Lin Yi called Fatty Lai, who was in a state of extreme excitement. The previous press conference had been a resounding success, and he doubted any further advertising would be necessary before the product launch. With all this media coverage, it was clear Guanshenye Pharmaceutical Company would be famous. After all, the mass coma incident at number 1 high school had been hyped up by Can Lang, generating hundreds of millions of hits online. Netizens nationwide were watching the story closely. Xuanyuan Pharmaceutical Company had cracked the case at the crucial moment and quickly developed an antidote. Their speed was truly remarkable. Xuanyuan Pharmaceutical's name would soon be known throughout the internet. "Boss," Fatty Lai answered the phone. "I heard your press conference was quite a success." Although Lin Yi hadn't seen it in person, he'd heard taxi drivers talking about it on the way, raving about how awesome Dr. Guan's pharmaceutical company was, curing ailments that even hospitals couldn't. "Hey, if it weren't for Boss's amazing prescription, everything I've done would be in vain." Fatty Lai remained clear-headed and didn't let himself get complacent. He knew that all this was due to Lin Yi's poison and antidote recipes. Without those two, even if he boasted about it, people would still believe him. "Oh, you've done a great job," Lin Yi praised. "By the way, how is the antidote preparation going? The raw materials have been purchased and are already on the production line." "With Boss Guan overseeing everything, there shouldn't be any problems," Fatty Lai said. "Well, let me ask you something. Do you know anyone who sells houses?" Lin Yi asked. "Selling houses? Why are you buying houses, boss?" Fatty Lai asked, taken aback. "It's Tang Yun's family. Did it Zhao Kaibing knock down their shanty town house? They're planning to buy a house now. Do you know any developers offering sales or special offers?" Lin Yi's question was cryptic, but Fatty Lai was shrewd enough to understand what Lin Yi meant. Indeed, Fatty Lai understood. He understood Lin Yi's intentions the moment he heard that Tang Yun's family was looking to buy a house. Fatty Lai used to be a real estate developer and had several properties in Songshan City, some of which he had either unsold or kept for himself. Lin Yi couldn't just offer Tang Yun a house. Given Tang Yun's personality, she'd definitely refuse, and her mother would definitely stay, which would inevitably lead to some conflict between them. It was just like that with the 500,000 yuan. Tang Yun always wanted to return it to Lin Yi, but her mother wouldn't give it up. So Lin Yi came up with a plan: have Fatty Lai sell the house to Tang's mother under a pretext for a low price. That way, Tang's mother would get a bargain, and Tang Yun wouldn't suspect anything. "Oh, there really is," Fatty Lai thought for a moment and said, "Just have Auntie contact me directly. I'll take care of it." Lin Yi smiled slightly. Fatty Lai's understanding was quite good. He said, "Yes? Okay, I'll have Auntie Wang contact you." Tang's mother looked at Lin Yi eagerly. When she heard Lin Yi say that sometimes, her eyes suddenly lit up and she almost laughed out loud. She didn't have much money, so she naturally wanted to save as much as possible. "Is there, Auntie Wang? My friend said there's a special sale on houses. Just contact them directly." Lin Yi smiled. "Ah, great. Then I'll go check it out tomorrow." Tang's mother was also anxious to move out. Before, she couldn't find a house she liked, so she just wanted a cheap house. Now that housing prices are so high, getting a special deal is a great deal. Lin Yi gave Fatty Lai's contact information to Tang's mother, and Tang Yun, standing beside her, frowned slightly. She was a little skeptical. How could it be such a coincidence? The family was just about to buy a house, and Lin Yi was able to find someone to buy it at a special price? However, she couldn't ask in front of her mother, so she could only put her doubts in her heart for the time being. There were police guarding the door of the ward, which made some people happy and some worried. Zhong Pinliang was very happy. He felt like a big shot, and there were guards outside to protect him. If he was seen by someone he knew, it would be very prestigious. Chapter 703 Visiting in Xuanyuan. But in Xuanyuan didn't think so. He was so worried that his hair almost turned white. There were policemen guarding the door of the ward. It was impossible to call the tattooed man or Zhong Pinliang. He didn't have his cell phone with him, and he was afraid of being discovered by the police if he used the phone in the ward. The kidney harvesting ring that he had worked so hard to run was wiped out by the police, and Xuanyuan was in great pain, but this was not the most painful thing. The most painful thing was that one of his kidneys was also removed. If nothing unexpected happened, that kidney should be in Zhong Pinliang's body. And Xuanyuan didn't want to lose a kidney. He wanted to find Zhong Pinliang and get his kidney back, but he didn't dare. Although kidneys are important, compared to life, they are nothing. Once the police find out that he is the leader of the kidney harvesting ring, what awaits him may not just be imprisonment, but execution is very likely. So Xuanyuan was in a dilemma and could only stay in the ward depressed. When the police came to see him, he had to pretend to be a victim, looking extremely pitiful and painful. In fact, he was indeed in great pain, but he didn't reveal the truth. But his identity remained a secret. And Jianwen wanted to make up a name, but that would make it even harder to explain if the police discovered him. It would be safer to just tell them his real name. What Jianwen didn't expect was that two acquaintances came to visit him in the hospital room. Chen Yushan hadn't expected Song Lingshan to call him on her own initiative. This excited him, yet also made him a little suspicious. Why would Song Lingshan call him? Song Lingshan hadn't expected that the list of victims Liu Wangli had reported would include Jianwen, one of the once famous four young masters of Songshan. Of course, Song Lingshan had no fondness for such a dandy young man, which was why she had no affection for Chen Yushan. He only relied on his family background to act arrogant and pretentious. Now that he was separated from his family, what was left? Although Chen Yushan had changed a lot in recent years, Song Lingshan still had no feelings for him. They could only consider their relationship a little better than before, just ordinary friends. So, since they were just ordinary friends, it was necessary for Song Lingshan to inform Chen Yushan if something happened to Jianwen. Moreover, even if she hated Jianwen, but as Jianwen was one of the more important figures in the city, Song Lingshan still needed to visit him in person. Song Lingshan called Chen Yushan to ask her to go to the hospital to visit Jianwen together. No matter what, Chen Yushan was still very happy that Song Lingshan asked him out alone. But Jianwen had one of his kidneys cut off by the kidney snatching group, which made Chen Yushan feel very weird, especially since he was fine when he was drinking yesterday, but he was admitted to the hospital today, which made Chen Yushan feel a little miserable. Song Lingshan was cold all the way, with a cool face and no emotion. This made Chen Yushan have a lot to say, but he didn't know how to start. He said a few meaningless words, but Song Lingshan was also indifferent, which made Chen Yushan only smile bitterly. It seems that he really doesn't have much chance. Especially Song Lingshan's words made Chen Yushan completely give up. He felt that he had no hope in this life. I have broken through the middle stage of the yellow rank and advanced to the late stage of the yellow rank. What is your current strength? At this moment, Song Lingshan was so grateful to Lin Yi in her heart. If it weren't for Lin Yi, she would not have been able to break through. What else could Chen Yushan do except smile bitterly? He had just advanced to the early stage of the yellow rank not long ago. Let alone the middle stage, he had not even reached the peak of the early stage. Compared with Song Lingshan's late stage of the yellow rank, there was a world of difference. Chen Yushan, I hope you can face yourself. The gap between us is too big. We are not suitable. Song Lingshan knew what Chen Yushan was thinking, but she didn't expect that Chen Yushan still kept thinking about it after so many years. Not suitable, Chen Yushan sighed. Song Lingshan didn't give him any chance. Do you think you can beat me? Song Lingshan raised her head, staring at Chen Yushan intently. I've told you before, I don't like men who are inferior to me. When have you ever been assertive in front of me? Not even once. Every time you're such a wimp, either asking me if I have time or if I have a chance. Look at what you've done. If you're truly capable, show me how assertive you are just this once. Chen Yushan sighed again. Can I be assertive? You're a late-stage yellow rank expert, and I'm only early stage. How can I be assertive? You'll just kick me away. Seeing Chen Yushan speechless, Song Lingshan shook her head. Although Chen Yushan was weaker than her, he had never even thought of being assertive, not even daring to think about it. This kind of personality was simply unacceptable to Song Lingshan. Even if she accepted him, bringing him back to the Song family would probably make people laugh. People who didn't know would think she'd found a man who married into the family instead. If it were Lin Yi, he would have exploded long ago. But if it were Lin Yi, would she still dare to ask him such a stupid question as "Can you beat me?" ? It seemed unlikely, as Lin Yi would definitely give her the nickname Brain-Dead Girl back. Song Lingshan felt a pang of injustice. Comparing herself to others was infuriating. How could someone as strong as her be so easily bullied by Lin Yi? Never mind, she still had to rely on him to solve the case. And Jianwen looked at Song Lingshan and Chen Yushan, who had suddenly appeared in the hospital room, and a wave of despair washed over him. It seemed the police outside hadn't lied to him. The kidney harvesting ring was truly doomed. Otherwise, Song Lingshan wouldn't be standing here unharmed. Fortunately, Song Lingshan didn't know she was the ring's leader, otherwise, she wouldn't be lying in the hospital right now. Jianwen, what's wrong with you? How could something like this happen? Chen Yushan found this unbelievable. The kidney harvesting ring wouldn't choose a sports-carrying dandy like Jianwen when they were targeting them, right? Aren't you afraid that things will get out of hand after this? I don't know. Last night, after dinner, I felt a little depressed. You know I've always had a crush on Chu Mengyao, but my confession plan failed yesterday, so I just wanted to walk around the street to relax. I ended up falling asleep on the side of the road, and when I woke up, I didn't know anything, and Xuanyuan's words were half true and half false. He wasn't afraid that Song Lingshan would suspect him. After all, Chen Yushan could testify that yesterday's banquet did end in a bad mood. Chapter 704 The Urge to Die. Is that so? Chen Yushan felt a little sympathetic towards Xuanyuan. He had a failed relationship and had his kidney removed. One could imagine the pain in his heart. He turned to look at Song Lingshan. Has the murderer been caught? The mastermind codenamed the Tattooed Man has been arrested, but the surgeon committed suicide out of fear of punishment, Song Lingshan said lightly. I wonder if there are any unknown interest chains hidden behind this criminal group? The police are further investigating. What Song Lingshan said were all things that could be learned from official channels, but Xuanyuan was lying in the ward, isolated from the news, so naturally he didn't know much about these things. When he heard Song Lingshan say that the tattooed man had been arrested and the surgeon committed suicide out of fear of punishment, he suddenly felt dizzy. It was his own kidney scaling group. The surgeon committed suicide. What should he do? He was counting on him to exchange his kidney for his own. Now everything is ruined. Even if Zhong Pinliang is found, there is no way to find someone to donate his kidney. How could a regular hospital perform this operation on him? It is even more impossible for him to tell the police, otherwise the police will ask, how do you know that Zhong Pinliang's kidney is yours? Chen Yushan saw that Xuanyuan's expression was a little unnatural, and thought that he was thinking of the sad past again, so he quickly comforted him. Brother Xuanyuan, I am sorry for the loss of this situation. Fortunately, you only lost a kidney and your life is safe. You can find a way to transplant a kidney in the future, and Xuanyuan could only smile bitterly. He was not only suffering from the loss of a kidney, but he knew clearly where his kidney was, but he could not get it back. This was the most painful thing. What's more, his own kidney sweeping group was his hard work. And Xuanyuan returned to Songshan city from abroad. Besides pursuing Chu Mengyao, he also wanted to start a business. Furthermore, his own business was thriving, with sales soaring, surpassing his brothers in Songshan city by several times. He was also highly praised by the Yin family and the Fire Wolf Gang. Just as Xuanyuan was about to make great strides, he was suddenly struck by a bucket of cold water, shattering his grand dreams. Xuanyuan, don't worry. The police will give you justice. The criminals have been brought to justice. We hope you can testify in court during the trial. Song Lingshan came on behalf of the police. Although she had some dislike for Xuanyuan, he was a victim after all, and she had something to say. Okay, Xuanyuan's heart bled. To testify for his own criminal group? Was there any other idiot in the world like that? But Xuanyuan had no choice. He was afraid that Song Lingshan would be suspicious, so he could only nod his head with pain. I will go to testify, Brother Xuanyuan. Let me call Xiaoshu to see if she is with Yao Iao. I will ask them to come and see you too. Chen Yushan felt sorry for Xuanyuan when he saw that he was pitiful. He thought that if Chu Mengyao came to see Xuanyuan might feel better. Xuanyuan was overjoyed after hearing this. He thought to himself, Chen Yushan is the one who understands me. As expected, we were both one of the 4 young masters of Songshan. He is really good to me. Chu Mengyao will definitely sympathize with me when she sees how miserable I am now. When the time comes, the girl's maternal instincts will be aroused. Maybe I still have a chance. Although Chu Mengyao is cold, she has a kind heart. Xuanyuan knows it. Otherwise, she would not have let Lin Yi come to rescue herself at the amusement park. So Xuanyuan was very much in favor of Chu Mengyao coming to see him, but he was a little afraid of Chen Yushu. That girl was a pure troublemaker who was afraid that the world would not be in chaos. She estimated that seeing his miserable appearance, she would probably applaud and wish he was dead. But no matter how he thought about it, Chen Yushu had nothing to do with Xuanyuan, and Xuanyuan didn't like Chen Yushu. He wouldn't even want a girl like this even if she was willing to pay for him, but he couldn't resist her. If he took her home, would he still be able to survive? She might even castrate him in the middle of the night. So Xuanyuan always kept his distance from Chen Yushu. He didn't want to provoke her, but he couldn't offend her either. After all, she was Chu Mengyao's best friend. Thank you for your help. Brother Yushan, a friend in need is a friend indeed. and Xuanyuan was very moved. When he was injured, he still received such care from Chen Yushan, which made him feel very comfortable. Chen Yushan called his sister Chen Yushu. Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao had just returned to the ward. She took Chu Mengyao's hand, looked at the serious expression on her face, and said with a smile, "Sister Yao, what's wrong with you? Why do you seem unhappy? You survived a disaster, you should be very happy, you should have saved your life. Look at me, every time I play Super Mario Bros. Wii with you, when I encounter a boss that is not dead, I will cheer." Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu. "How can this be the same as a game? Besides, you will be very happy if Lin Yi sees you." "Oh, but I'm not unhappy. So what if he sees you? I will marry him in the future, so I will be seen too. We saw everything when we played 3 games together." Chen Yushu counted on her fingers and said, "It's just that she saw it a little earlier, so what's the matter?" Chu Mengyao rolled her eyes. She found that she and Chen Yushu seemed to be at odds. This girl didn't know if there was any concept of chastity in her head. She was seen by Lin Yi as if nothing happened. She was so happy all day, happier than anyone else. It's true that fools have good fortune. Foolish people don't think about so many gains and losses. "When am I going to marry him?" Chu Mengyao snorted. "No, you and Lin Yi, you must keep it a secret for me, otherwise I won't be able to get married in the future." "Oh, don't worry, it must be just the 3 of us who know about it. We won't show or tell outsiders about our own things." Chen Yushu nodded and said. Chu Mengyao was speechless. She found that Chen Yushu didn't seem to understand what she said at all, or was she deliberately not understanding? Chu Mengyao suddenly found that her best friend had a very powerful brain. When she wanted to understand, she reacted faster than anyone else. When she didn't want to understand, no matter what you said, it would be useless. "Don't talk about this matter again in the future." Chu Mengyao could only compromise and warn Chen Yushu. "Okay, I won't talk about it anymore." Chen Yushu nodded. "Sister Yao, what are we going to do now? This hospital is so boring. I don't want to stay here anymore. The smell of disinfectant is making me dizzy." Chu Mengyao didn't really want to stay in the hospital any longer. Although she had just recovered from a coma, she was full of endless energy. She didn't know what Lin Yi had done to her. Chu Mengyao was grateful, but the thought of him seeing her naked body, or even worse, peeing in front of him, made her want to die. Salem's Armed Storm is back online, on the Kidian game channel. After level 32, there's a heroic spirit system, and Yuran II is one of the heroic spirit guardians. Those who are interested can go and play it. Chapter 705 Super good news. "Where do you want to go?" Chu Mengyao asked. "How about we go home and play hide and seek?" Chen Yushu suggested. "Hide and seek? Are you horny and want to be caught in the fence again and have Lin Yi touch your breasts?" Chu Mengyao rejected Chen Yushu's suggestion. There was only so much space at home, and playing hide and seek occasionally was fine, but playing it all the time would be boring. Okay, then what do you want to play?" Chen Yushu changed the subject without blushing or beating her heart, as if Chu Mengyao wasn't talking about her. "How should I know? How about we go home and play the game console?" Chu Mengyao had just heard Chen Yushu talk about playing the game console and felt like playing some games. Okay, Chen Yushu nodded. She liked to play anything. As they were talking, Chen Yushu's cell phone rang. Chen Yushu glanced at the caller ID and saw that it was her brother calling. She quickly answered the phone. "Brother, Zia Oshu, where are you?" Chen Yushan's voice came from the other end of the phone. "Sister Yao and I are in the hospital." "Brother, what's the matter with you?" Chen Yushu said. "If you're fine, come and play games with us." When Chen Yushan heard Chen Yushu say that they were in the hospital, he was stunned for a moment, and thought they were sick. But when he heard Chen Yushu say that they were playing games, it was obvious that nothing happened, so he didn't ask much, and said directly, "And Xuanyuan drank last night and fell asleep on the road. As a result, a criminal gang cut off one of his kidneys. If you and Yao have nothing to do, come and see him. We are now in Ward 218 of the 3rd Inpatient Department of the 1st People's Hospital." "Oh my god." Chen Yushu widened her eyes after hearing this, and then clapped her hands and cheered. "Oh, Sister Yao, I have super good news to tell you. And Xuanyuan had one kidney cut off, just like Zhong Pinliang. Your suitors are so pitiful, all of their kidneys were cut off." Chen Yushan was sweating. His sister was too fierce. Even if she didn't like Xuanyuan, There was no need to cheer so blatantly, right? If Xuanyuan heard this, wouldn't he be furious? Fortunately, she was far away and Xuanyuan couldn't hear what was said on the phone. Xuanyuan? His kidney was removed. Chu Mengyao was stunned. Although she didn't show as much happiness as Chen Yushu, she wasn't very sad either. The relationship between Xuanyuan and herself was drifting apart, and she no longer had the feeling of being the brother next door in her childhood. Chu Mengyao shook her head. Sure enough, when people grow up, they can never go back to the past. Zia Oshu, Yuanyao, you have to come and see, right? Xuanyuan is an old friend after all, and we have a good relationship, Chen Yushan said. Oh, okay, Sister Yao and I have nothing to do yet, so it's a good opportunity to go and see him. It's fun, Chen Yushu agreed after thinking about it. Chen Yushan didn't know what to say. Fun? Xuanyuan had one kidney removed. Is it fun? However, Chen Yushan had no idea what to do with his quirky sister. The old man at home doted on her and treated her like the family's treasure. And if you look at it from a certain perspective, his sister is indeed very cute. Sister Yao, we have somewhere to play. Let's go to the hospital to see Xuanyuan. His kidney was removed. It's so interesting, Chen Yushu hung up the phone and said to Chu Mengyao. Do you think it was Brother Wrigley who did it, Lin Yi? Chu Mengyao was slightly stunned. Could it be Lin Yi? Why did Lin Yi remove Xuanyuan's kidney? Was it because Xuanyuan wanted to pursue him and confessed his love to him during dinner yesterday? It seems impossible. Lin Yi doesn't like her, so why would he remove Xuanyuan's kidney? If it were my order, it would be more or less the same, but I didn't order him to do it. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu told Chu Pengzhan about going to the First People's Hospital to visit Xuanyuan. Chu Pengzhan was worried about them going out alone. After all, the coma incident had just ended, and Chu Pengzhan was already a frightened bird. He asked Uncle Fu to see them off. In the car, Chen Yushu called Lin Yi. Brother Arrow, where are you? I'm at the First People's Hospital. Lin Yi answered Chen Yushu's call in front of Tang Yun. Since Tang Yun already knew about his relationship with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu, there was no need to hide it anymore. Oh, that's perfect. Sister Yao and I are going to the First People's Hospital to visit Xuanyuan too. Come with us, Chen Yushu said happily when she heard Lin Yi was also there. Visiting Xuanyuan, Lin Yi was stunned, but then he realized that this kid probably had his kidney removed. Would that mean his kidney was donated to Zhong Pinliang? Would it be a match? Oh, Xuanyuan's had his kidney removed, Chen Yushu said excitedly. Come and protect us. What if Xuanyuan goes berserk and beats me and Sister Yao up? Lin Yi was speechless. Xuanyuan's kidney had been removed, so how could he have the energy to hit someone? And even beat them? But Lin Yi knew Chen Yushu's character, so he said, okay, then, when you get here, call me, okay, we'll be there soon. Just wait for us at the entrance of the third inpatient ward, Chen Yushu said. After Chen Yushu hung up, Lin Yi saw Tang Yun looking at him and smiled. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu are here. They're going to visit a patient. Let me come with them. Oh, go ahead. There's nothing going on here. Tang Yun had wanted to go shopping with Lin Yi after leaving the hospital. The weather was getting hotter, and Tang Yun wanted to buy some shorts. She had originally wanted to go to the night market, but it was obviously not going to work today. Oh, if there's anything else, I'll come over later. Lin Yi noticed that Tang Yun seemed to be hesitant to speak, as if she had something to tell him. Well, it depends on the time, Tang Yun said with a smile. Lin Yi talked to Tang's parents and left the ward, heading to the third inpatient apartment. Downstairs in the third inpatient apartment, Lin Yi saw Uncle Fu's Bentley just arriving. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu got out of the car hands in hand. Chen Yushu waved to Lin Yi. The eldest lady just glanced at Lin Yi lightly, as a greeting. Lin Yi knew the eldest lady's not in her heart, so he didn't argue with her. He smiled and said, you come to see the patient, and don't you bring some gifts? Oh, to celebrate. I'll go buy some firecrackers, Chen Yushu thought for a moment and said seriously. Chen Yushu's words actually made Chu Mengyao laugh. Come on, even if you're happy, you can't set off firecrackers. You have to consider your brother's face. Chapter 706, fainted again. That's right. Let's go have a big dinner to celebrate later, shall we? Chen Yushu nodded, abandoning the idea of buying firecrackers. The three of them entered the first inpatient department, went up to the second floor, and arrived at the door of Ward 218. They saw police patrolling nearby. As soon as they saw the three of them about to enter the ward, someone immediately stopped them and asked, "Excuse me, who are you looking for?" Chen Yushan had come with Song Lingshan, so the guards had naturally let them in. However, although Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, and Chen Yushu looked relatively harmless, they couldn't be taken lightly. To see Jianwen, Lin Yi said. He hadn't expected Jianwen to be protected by the police. Jianwen is one of the victims we're protecting. Could you please tell me your name? I need to ask the person involved and the supervisor, the guard asked. Who is your supervisor? Song Lingshan? Or Liu Wengli? Lin Yi hadn't expected seeing Jianwen to be so troublesome. Do you know Captain Song and Captain Liu? The officer in charge of the security was stunned. Captain Song is in there. Wait a moment, I'll go get her. Hearing that, Lin Yi knew not only his squadron leader, Liu Wengli, but also Captain Song Lingshan. He didn't dare to be inconsiderate. After speaking to Lin Yi, he went into the ward. Captain Song, there's someone at the door wanting to see Jianwen, and they know you, the officer in charge of the security reported. Do they know me? Song Lingshan was slightly startled. I'll go check. When Song Lingshan left the ward, she saw Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, and Chen Yushu. She was a little surprised that Lin Yi had come to see Jianwen. Did he know Jianwen? Lin Yi, Song Lingshan glanced at Lin Yi, her expression slightly uneasy, as Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu were also present. But she quickly regained her composure. What was she afraid of? They weren't Lin Yi's girlfriends. What was his relationship with Lin Yi? What did they have to do with him? Why isn't Jianwen being protected? Lin Yi asked. He's one of the victims of the kidney stealing ring. We need him to testify in court, Song Lingshan said. Do you know him? Yes, but not well, Lin Yi shrugged, finding it a bit amusing. Jianwen testifying against his own criminal gang? Although Jianwen was the mastermind behind the case, he was probably done with all evidence by now. Lin Yi didn't bother to discuss this with Song Lingshan. Song Lingshan nodded and followed Lin Yi into the room, like a nagging wife, not daring to step past him. This detail went unnoticed by others. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu didn't notice, but Chen Yushan didn't think much of it. He simply didn't believe Song Lingshan was still a nagging victim. Zia Oshu, Yao, Lin Yi, you're here. Chen Yushan spoke Lin Yi's name with a certain awkwardness. Deep down, he respected Lin Yi immensely. He called him Instructor Eagle, but calling him by his first name felt disrespectful. Chen Yushu's face fell when she saw her brother and then saw Song Lingshan behind her. She couldn't understand why her brother was so stubborn. Song Lingshan clearly didn't like him, yet he was still pursuing her. How shameful. Song Lingshan was such a slut, she was also causing trouble. She really deserved a good lesson. Chen Yushu's eyes suddenly lit up, and she had an idea. Jianwen was delighted to see Chu Mengyao approach, but he automatically ignored Chen Yushu beside her. However, when Jianwen saw Lin Yi behind Chen Yushu, his face suddenly darkened. Lin Yi knew that he was the leader of the kidney harvesting ring. He was supposed to remove Lin Yi's kidney this morning, but it ended up being him. However, it was certain that Lin Yi hated him. Could it be that Lin Yi had saved Song Lingshan? At this thought, Jianwen's hatred for Lin Yi intensified, and so did his fear. He was afraid that Lin Yi would reveal his identity to Song Lingshan, and he was furious that Lin Yi had destroyed all his hard work. However, he didn't consider that if he hadn't arrested Lin Yi and Song Lingshan, his kidney harvesting ring wouldn't have been destroyed so quickly. Jianwen thought about it carefully and felt relieved. Even if Lin Yi told Song Lingshan, what would happen? There was no evidence. The tattooed man would definitely hold his own and not betray him. And since Dr. Wang, the only person who knew his identity, had committed suicide, who else could prove he was the leader of the kidney harvesting ring? Even if he refused to admit his guilt, Song Lingshan wouldn't be able to do anything to him. The Yin family wasn't to be trifled with, and Song Lingshan wouldn't dare do anything to him without evidence. Thinking of this, Jianwen felt more at ease. With a hint of hypocrisy on his face, he said, Brother Lin Yi, you're here too? You still remember me at this hour? I'll definitely treat you to a meal when I recover. To maintain his reputation in Chu Mengyao's eyes, Jianwen had no choice but to do so. Otherwise, it would be bad if Chu Mengyao thought he was petty. Oh, Brother Jianwen, you lost a kidney, can you still get better? You won't die, right? Chen Yushu spoke before Lin Yi could say anything. Huh? And Jianwen was stunned, his face flushed immediately because of Chen Yushu, and he cursed in his heart, "Damn it, can your family die from losing a kidney? Can't you not be angry?" But Jianwen really didn't dare to scold Chen Yushu. He didn't dare to offend the Chen family, not to mention that Chen Yushan was also in the ward. What's more, Chen Yushu was Chu Mengyao's best friend. If he scolded her, would he still want to get better? Xiaoshu, don't talk nonsense. Losing a kidney will only affect your health, but it won't kill you. Chen Yushan had no choice but to explain to his sister. Oh, so that's how it is. I thought so, Chen Yushu nodded. I heard that a man without a kidney isn't a complete man anymore. Brother Jianwen, your dream of sleeping with Sister Yao is over, and you definitely won't be able to have sex 3 times, huh? And Jianwen's face suddenly turned purple. He didn't expect Chen Yushu to be so mean. He brought up all sorts of issues. He really shouldn't have let her come along. Was he really embarrassing himself in front of Chu Mengyao? Xiaoshu, don't talk nonsense. Even if he's a man, I won't sleep with him, Chu Mengyao frowned. She felt that Chen Yushu was going a bit too far, as if she had agreed to sleep with Jianwen. However, Chu Mengyao's words were ambiguous. And Jianwen felt a chill in his heart. Consider him a man? Doesn't that mean he doesn't count now? The more Jianwen thought about it, the more frustrated he felt. Why was he so unlucky? Is there anyone else who dares to be more unlucky than him? As he was thinking about it, Jianwen became so angry that he fainted. Chapter 707 The Obedient Song Lingshan. Song Lingshan frowned. Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, please be careful with your words. And Jianwen is the victim. His injuries and emotions are unstable right now. Please don't provoke him. How did I provoke him? Chen Yushu had a very negative impression of Song Lingshan. What I said is true. My brother also said that losing a kidney can affect your health. Chen Yushan, however, lowered his head with a wry smile. Between his sister and Song Lingshan, who could he help? Who could he help? How could he help? Song Lingshan glared at him. Why are you still standing there? Why don't you go get a doctor? I'll go right away. Chen Yushan nodded quickly, turning to go find a doctor. Chen Yushu was furious. What was wrong with her brother? He was so cautious around Song Lingshan, like a mouse seeing a cat. How could you be so soft? She was his sister, and she was being criticized by a slutty vixen, and he didn't care. He even went to help Song Lingshan find a doctor? Brother, you can't go. Chen Yushu stood in front of Chen Yushan, staring at him angrily. She scolded your sister. How could you let her bully me? Xiaoshu, Chen Yushan was suddenly torn. Song Lingshan wasn't really bullying Chen Yushu, was she? She was just a little harsh in her words. Sure enough, he's unreliable. Chen Yushu, seeing Chen Yushan's dilemma, was immediately disappointed. He thought to himself, Brother Arrow is the best. He's always there to help me and stand by me. Yeah, I'll only be good to Brother Arrow in my life. Not even my own brother can do that. Lin Yi was a little surprised by Chen Yushan's actions, but from Chen Yushu's reaction, he had a rough idea. Chen Yushan was Song Lingshan's suitor? Was there someone pursuing Song Lingshan? Xiaoshu, I'll go get a doctor first. Chen Yushan saw the disappointment in his sister's eyes, but there was nothing he could do. First, Song Lingshan had asked him to find a doctor, and second, Jianwen had indeed fainted. He had to make sure nothing happened. No, Chen Yushu disagreed. This was no longer as simple as finding a doctor, but it had escalated into a contest with Song Lingshan. Chen Yushu really didn't understand, why was her brother so stubborn and liked Song Lingshan? Her brother was very good, okay? Although he was not as good as Brother Arrow, he was also the eldest grandson of the Chen family. What kind of girl could he not find? Chen Yushu and Song Lingshan had been at odds since childhood, so this was why Chen Yushu targeted Song Lingshan. Chu Mengyao couldn't stand it anymore, but she knew Xiaoshu's character. Although Xiaoshu seemed silly and didn't care about anything all day long, when she was really persistent, no one could stop her. This was also the reason why Xiaoshu stayed by her side even when she was unconscious. Chu Mengyao was very moved. Although Chen Yushu's remarks and suggestions sometimes made her embarrassed, such as concubines and third batches, Chu Mengyao knew that Chen Yushu really didn't want to be separated from her and wanted to be together for the rest of her life. Lin Yi hadn't expected Chen Yushu and Song Lingshan to get so heated, but Chen Yushan was indeed showing a bit of weakness, which made Lin Yi unable to bear it. He said calmly, "No need to go. And Jianwen won't die for now." Chen Yushin opened his mouth, but now he could only bite the bullet and say, "Okay." Lin Yi was the person Chen Yushin admired most in his life. It was because of Lin Yi that he had changed. Otherwise, he would still be a playboy, hanging out with Jianwen every day. Song Lingshan glanced at Chen Yushin in surprise. Lin Yi's words had such an effect? Did Chen Yushin agree so directly? Although Song Lingshan felt a little embarrassed, given her strong personality, Chen Yushin dared to disobey her, which made her feel a little embarrassed. But when she remembered that it was Lin Yi who had ruined her, her temper suddenly disappeared. Being bullied by Lin Yi, she could only blame herself for her bad luck. How could Song Lingshan dare to complain? For the time being, she didn't dare. But today's Chen Yushin made Song Lingshan look at him with new eyes, and for the first time, she stood up. It's a pity that Song Lingshan doesn't like him, and even if her personality changes, it can't change Song Lingshan's feelings. Chen Yushu was stunned, looking at her brother in disbelief. He didn't even listen to her, but actually listened to Brother Arrow? And Chen Yushin was also a little surprised. Song Lingshan didn't insist on going to see a doctor anymore? Lin Yi didn't say anything else, but just walked to Jianwen's bedside and pressed his head twice, and Jianwen woke up. And Jianwen was shocked when he saw Lin Yi pressing his head. Would Lin Yi kill him? But then Jianwen remembered that Song Lingshan and Chen Yushin were here, and Lin Yi should not dare to kill him. Of course, if only Lin Yi and Chen Yushu were here, and Jianwen would be worried. That girl would definitely conspire with Lin Yi to kill him. It was too creepy. "Thank you, Brother Lin. I wasn't feeling well and fainted," and Jianwen thanked Lin Yi. "No need to thank me, we're even," Lin Yi said calmly. And Jianwen was stunned for a moment, then he understood what Lin Yi meant. Lin Yi was referring to the incident of knocking him unconscious before, and now waking him up again. Of course, only Jianwen could understand this. "Oh, Brother Jianwen, you're awake." Chen Yushu looked at Jianwen apologetically. "I'm sorry, I won't say anything nonsense." It's okay. What else could Jianwen say? He didn't want to argue with Chen Yushu. He couldn't afford to argue. Arguing too much would shorten his life. "Oh, let's take a photo with Brother Jianwen. After all, losing a kidney is something worth remembering. It's the only time in his life he'll lose one, and it won't happen again." Chen Yushu suddenly clapped her hands and suggested. And Jianwen almost rolled his eyes and fainted again after hearing what Chen Yushu said. What's so memorable about losing a kidney? And it's only once in a lifetime? Isn't that nonsense? If he says it one more time, he'll just hang up. However, Chen Yushu's words weren't so sharp this time, and he had no way to refute them. He could only pretend he hadn't heard what Chen Yushu meant. Besides, taking a photo with Chu Mengyao was something he was very happy about. Chen Yushin and Song Lingshan's expressions were a little strange. Chen Yushin thought to himself that his sister was really a tough guy. This made Jianwen almost faint again. Song Lingshan felt that Chen Yushu must have done it on purpose. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 708 I Will Miss You. Oh, they're taking pictures. That's great. Sister Yao, come quickly. Chen Yushu waved to Chu Mengyao. Chu Mengyao didn't want to join in the fun, but since Chen Yushu was so excited, she didn't argue. She walked over and stood next to Chen Yushu, not directly next to Jianwen, which made Jianwen a little disappointed. "Brother, come too," Chen Yushu waved, and then said to Lin Yi, "Brother Arrow, stand behind Sister Yao and me to protect us. I'll take the picture for you." "I won't go over." Lin Yi felt that there was nothing to take pictures with Jianwen. "No, Sister Lingshan is the only outsider here. Let her take the picture. Come quickly." Chen Yushu started to target Song Lingshan again. Song Lingshan was about to say, "Why should I take a picture for you? I'm a police officer. I have no obligation to take a family photo for you. Besides, what's wrong with outsiders? Who wants to be like your family?" However, before Song Lingshan could say anything, Lin Yi said, "Oh, okay." After saying that, he walked over and stood behind Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao. This made Song Lingshan feel a little embarrassed. Lin Yi had already walked over, So should she take pictures or not? I don't have a camera. Song Lingshan felt like a punching bag, so embarrassed. Sister Lingshan, you have a mobile phone with high pixels. The beach castle you took for me last time was beautiful, but Chen Yushu did not let Song Lingshan go. She wanted to make Song Lingshan lose face in front of her brother. Let her brother see that the arrogant girl he liked was nothing but a bullied girl in front of Brother Arrow. Song Lingshan was furious. If it weren't for Lin Yi last time, how could she have been so bored as to take pictures of beach bunkers? Was she mentally retarded? Oh, it seemed that Lin Yi thought she was mentally retarded? No obligation, Song Lingshan said coldly. Okay, Song Lingshan, take a picture quickly. Lin Yi frowned. This Song Lingshan was the same. So many people were standing there, but she was still making excuses. Even though she had some conflicts with Chen Yushu, she was still standing here. Song Lingshan was shocked after hearing what Lin Yi said. Yes, Lin Yi was still standing there. If she didn't take a picture, would Lin Yi be angry? Thinking that Lin Yi had just called her Song Lingshan instead of little silly girl, Song Lingshan felt a little happy. Fortunately, Lin Yi gave her enough face in front of so many people. Otherwise, if he called her little silly girl, would she still have any face? Okay, Song Lingshan quickly took out her mobile phone to take a picture. She thought to herself that she was so angry with Chen Yushu today that she almost offended Lin Yi. Chen Yushu is so proud. It seemed that Song Lingshan was very afraid of Brother Arrow. Every time Brother Arrow said something, Song Lingshan obeyed him. And Chen Yushan was even more surprised. Earlier, when Lin Yi had stopped him from going to the doctor, Song Lingshan hadn't said anything. Chen Yushan had assumed that Song Lingshan and Lin Yi weren't familiar enough to argue with him, but now it seemed that wasn't the case at all. Lin Yi's words seemed to have a real effect on Song Lingshan. Whenever Lin Yi asked, Song Lingshan obeyed. What kind of relationship was theirs? Were they superiors and subordinates? Otherwise, with Song Lingshan's personality, when had she ever been so bullied? Song Lingshan took a picture and, with a smile on her face, handed the phone to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, how do you think it turned out? Not bad. Lin Yi glanced at it and nodded. Then I'll send it to you back, or to the mailbox from last time. Song Lingshan almost blurted out the word silly girl before realizing that she wasn't just talking to Lin Yi privately. Okay, Lin Yi was used to Song Lingshan's attitude and didn't think it was unusual, but Chen Yushan was shocked. Song Lingshan's attitude could be described as flattering. How could Song Lingshan speak to a man in such a pleasant and humble manner? She actually spoke to Lin Yi in such a tone? Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao were fine. They knew that Lin Yi seemed to be very powerful and Song Lingshan would always ask Lin Yi for help. But Xuanyuan didn't expect that Lin Yi and Song Lingshan had such a good personal relationship. If he had known this would happen, he would have let Song Lingshan go. He wouldn't have ended up like this. After taking the pictures, there was no point in staying here any longer. Chen Yushu came here just to mock Xuanyuan and have fun. After the fun, it was time to leave. Sister Yao, let's go. We've already taken a photo. We will miss Brother Xuanyuan. Chen Yushu said this, deliberately paused, and then said, that kidney, and Xuanyuan was secretly cursing Chen Yushu in his heart. He wasn't dead yet, so why did he miss it? In the end, after waiting for a long time, it turned out that he missed his kidney. He knew that he had been fooled by Chen Yushu again. Song Lingshan also controlled her emotions this time. She decided to behave herself when Lin Yi was around, otherwise it would be no fun if Lin Yi got angry. Chen Yushan could only smile bitterly at his sister. He couldn't control his sister, as she had always had this kind of personality since she was a child. As for Lin Yi, although Chen Yushan had a lot of questions to ask, he knew that even if he asked, Lin Yi might not answer. Besides, Lin Yi had already said that he was just his sister's follower. His sister's follower? His sister was too awesome. Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu and Chen Yushan said hello and left the ward. Lin Yi nodded to Chen Yushan and Song Lingshan, and followed Chu Mengyao and the others out of the ward. As for Xuanyuan, he was simply ignored by Lin Yi. After leaving the ward and walking a long way, Chen Yushu finally couldn't help laughing. Ha ha ha, so happy. Song Lingshan, that slutty fox, was suppressed by Brother Arrow. Let's see if she can still pretend to be arrogant. Ha ha ha. Chen Yushu was really happy. She was so happy that she wanted to die. Since she was a child, she hated Song Lingshan and felt that Song Lingshan had snatched her brother away. However, as she grew older, Chen Yushu realized that it was her brother who pursued Song Lingshan, and Song Lingshan looked down on her brother. In Chen Yushu's young mind, she felt that her brother was the best and most outstanding boy. Song Lingshan looked down on her brother and was really blind. So, she thought very viciously that when she had a boyfriend in the future, she would take Song Lingshan in as a maid when she had the chance. Then, she could order her around. Although she was a concubine, she also had this right. No matter what, she is still a wife, even if she is younger, but she is still a wife, and concubines are generally very capable and loved, but it is different for girls. I recommend my friend Jinho and Suayu's officialdom book Official Road. Book number 1,776,844. He asked for a collection and subscription. According to him, he currently updates 10,000 words a day. I hope everyone will support him. Chapter 709 The Inner World of the Young Lady. Chu Mengyao glanced at Lin Yi calmly and said nothing. She felt as if an intangible barrier had suddenly formed between her and Lin Yi. Seeing Lin Yi always gave her an inexplicable feeling. We must have a big meal to celebrate today. It was obvious that Chen Yushu was really happy. 3 good things happened today. The first is to celebrate Sister Yao Iao's coma after being poisoned. Xiao Shu. What did you say? Chu Mengyao was so angry that she almost fell down. Celebrating her own poisoning? Was there something wrong with Xiao Shu? Gloating over someone else's misfortune? Oh, Sister Yao Iao, don't be angry, I haven't finished yet. Chen Yushu was interrupted by Chu Mengyao and waved her hand a little aggrievedly. I mean, to celebrate Sister Yao Iao's survival after being poisoned in coma. She will surely have good fortune in the future. Chu Mengyao's face suddenly flushed slightly. It seemed that she had misunderstood Xiao Shu, but she still glared at her. Can't you explain it clearly? I said it, but I was interrupted, Chen Yushu said weakly. You're still talking. Chu Mengyao pretended to tear Chen Yushu's mouth. Oh no, I'm such a hard-working little wife. I won't accept this, Chen Yushu screamed. Then don't be a little wife. Chu Mengyao was just trying to scare her, and she didn't really want to tear her mouth, but she didn't expect Chen Yushu to talk nonsense again. Then I'll do it, Chen Yushu thought for a while and said. Whatever you say. Chu Mengyao rolled her eyes, not knowing what to say. Then I'll continue. This is the first thing. The second thing is that we have to celebrate that Xuanyuan had 1 kidney removed, so that he can no longer bother Sister Yao Iao, Chen Yushu said. Chu Mengyao had a good relationship with Xuanyuan when she was a child. Although the relationship is not so good now, she still felt a little sympathy for Xuanyuan having 1 kidney removed. It would be a bit too much to say that it was a celebration, so Chu Mengyao did not support Xiao Shu's proposal. The third thing is, we made Fox Song look bad. I'm so happy, Chen Yushu exclaimed excitedly, so we have to go celebrate. Chu Mengyao nodded. Surviving a disaster was indeed something to be thankful for. She glanced at Lin Yi and said calmly, Are you free? Lin Yi was slightly startled. Why was the young lady speaking to him in such a tone? It didn't seem like her. In the past, she would just order him to take them out to dinner without ever asking if he was free. Chu Mengyao's attitude made Lin Yi a little embarrassed. He had originally planned to go back to Tangyun after seeing Xuanyuan with them, but now it seemed he had no choice but to accompany the young lady for dinner. I had an appointment with Tangyun to go shopping, but we can cancel, Lin Yi said. Then ask her to come along, Chu Mengyao said after a moment's hesitation. Huh? Lin Yi was stunned, looking at Chu Mengyao in disbelief. Hadn't the young lady and Tangyun always been friendly? Why was she taking Tangyun out to dinner today? What did this mean? Why are you looking at me like that? Chu Mengyao frowned, feeling a little guilty under Lin Yi's gaze. She actually disliked this feeling. Ever since Lin Yi had looked at her and then embarrassingly peed all over her, Chu Mengyao had instinctively felt guilty and shy in front of him, no longer possessing her former pride and assertiveness. She was the eldest daughter, his employer. So how could she possibly feel guilty in front of him? So Chu Mengyao tried to keep her tone and attitude cool, masking her inner uneasiness. Are you going to treat her to a meal? Lin Yi asked. Oh, Sister Yao Iao is finally going to negotiate with Tangyun. That's great, Chen Yushu, unsure of what Chu Mengyao was thinking, cheered according to her own interpretation. Negotiation. Lin Yi glanced at Chen Yushu. Was the eldest daughter going to have a showdown with Tangyun? Thinking back to the scene at lunch, Lin Yi felt a headache. On one side was his employer, On the other was his girlfriend. And the eldest daughter was clearly a proud person, so she had to maintain her dignity. Xiaoshu, what are you talking about? What's the point of negotiating a judgment? Chu Mengyao glared at her. I just wanted to thank her. Chu Mengyao actually felt the same way. In the hospital, she overheard Tang Yun's phone call to Lin Yi. Suddenly, she felt that Tang Yun was actually quite a nice girl. She had always presented herself as a rival in love. And when her life was in danger, Tang Yun didn't gloat over her own death, but instead asked Lin Yi to save her. This deeply touched Chu Mengyao. Truly. The eldest daughter had always had plenty of money, but she lacked true love. Chu Pengzhan offered her ample fatherly love, but ultimately, he was too busy. No matter how much he loved Chu Mengyao, his time with her was limited. The eldest daughter had always depended on Xiaoshu for everything, which contributed to her aloof personality. She was kind to others because she was kind-hearted, but she kept it to herself. When Lin Yi first arrived, the eldest daughter was instinctively xenophobic. She didn't know him well, didn't know what he was like. With Chu Mengyao's somewhat closed-off personality, accepting Lin Yi living in the villa was already a stretch. However, as time went on, Chu Mengyao realized how truly good he was to her, almost unbelievably so. He'd risked his life for her, accompanying her as a hostage. This friendship was deeply engraved in Chu Mengyao's heart. However, her personality kept her from expressing her gratitude. At home, Lin Yi often cooked for her and Xiaoshu, caring for them like an older brother. This filled Chu Mengyao with warmth and joy. Growing up, she'd never had anyone treat her so well. Having been deprived of maternal love, Chu Mengyao cherished this bond all the more. No matter how good Chu Pengzhan was to her, he couldn't possibly cook for her every day, nor take care of her every need. Even when Uncle Fu brought her food every day, it was brought back from the hotel. How could it compare to someone cooking it himself? As Chu Mengyao gradually accepted Lin Yi's existence, she also developed a subtle dependence on him. It was as if Lin Yi was omnipotent. No matter what happened, he could easily solve it. Whether it was encountering bad guys, Xiaoshu being trapped in the iron fence, or treasure hunting in the yard, he could also find her and Xiaoshu in the first place when they were kidnapped. Lin Yi was like Doraemon, always there when he was called. Chapter 710 Defending Happiness. However, Tang Yun's appearance infuriated the young lady. It was as if a cherished item had been taken away from her. Chu Mengyao felt that Tang Yun had stolen Lin Yi from her. How could she sit back and watch? The family had just felt a warm and cozy feeling. How could Chu Mengyao allow someone to rob her of her happiness? As for Lin Yi's excuses about not being able to see the beautiful women at home and going out to pursue other women, those were just excuses. The real reason was the young lady's fragile and heartless heart from childhood. Chu Mengyao, like a safe, deliberately locked away her thoughts. She didn't want to acknowledge the warmth that Lin Yi had brought to their home. This was a tenderness deep within the young lady's heart that she didn't want anyone to know. Although she sometimes found Lin Yi annoying, living under the same roof was truly wonderful. If possible, Chu Mengyao wished this life could continue forever. However, Tang Yun's appearance brought Chu Mengyao back to reality, instantly shattering her dreams. Yes, sooner or later, Lin Yi would have to leave the villa and start his own life. He would have a girlfriend and his own family, but Chu Mengyao hadn't expected that day to come so soon. So, she was filled with hostility towards Tang Yun and wanted to drive her away from Lin Yi. She would never allow Tang Yun to destroy their warm home. She wanted Lin Yi to prepare breakfast for her and Xiaoshu every day, and to be the first to show up if she and Xiaoshu were in trouble. So, that night, seeing Lin Yi injured and Tang Yun, Chu Mengyao was furious. Why? Lin Yi was a member of the villa, so why should he get hurt for Tang Yun? Thus began the first clash between the eldest lady and Tang Yun. Furious, the eldest lady, without thinking, declared war on Tang Yun. This declaration of war led to a second clash in the cafeteria at noon. However, Tang Yun's kindness suddenly sobered the eldest lady. Really, what had Tang Yun done wrong? It seemed like Lin Yi had pursued her in the first place, right? How could she blame her? But Chu Mengyao really didn't want her to take Lin Yi away from the villa. But after what happened today, after Lin Yi had seen her body and she had so embarrassingly peed all over him, could her relationship with him ever be the same? Would he look down on her? Laugh at her? Even if not, how could she face Lin Yi with such humility? It was so annoying, so annoying. Chu Mengyao felt like she was going to die. She had never been so upset since she was a child. So, at that moment, the eldest lady decided to treat Tang Yun to a meal as a token of her gratitude. No matter what, from now on, they would be even. The eldest lady didn't want to owe anyone a favor, especially Tang Yun. How she handled her relationship with Lin Yi was her own business. She didn't want to be constrained by her debt to Tang Yun. The eldest lady was a smart person and naturally understood the difference. The eldest lady's words left Lin Yi a little stunned, but after a moment of surprise, he took out his phone and called Tang Yun. After all, Lin Yi wanted to ease the relationship between the eldest lady and Tang Yun. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for him to be caught in the middle. Lin Yi? Have you finished your business? Tang Yun was delighted when she received Lin Yi's call. She had been waiting in the ward. She had wanted to call Lin Yi to ask if he could come back that evening. But she held back because she was afraid of disrupting his work and embarrassing him. "Yes, I'm done," Lin Yi said. "I just left the inpatient department, then can you come back?" Tang Yun asked after a moment's hesitation. "Yao said she wants to treat you to dinner. Can you come?" Lin Yi asked. "Chu Mengyao? Treat me to dinner?" Tang Yun was slightly stunned, finding it a little inconceivable. Why would Chu Mengyao treat her to dinner? "To show my gratitude," Lin Yi said. "Ah. To show my gratitude." Tang Yun immediately understood that Chu Mengyao was thanking him for calling Lin Yi earlier and asking him to treat her. However, Tang Yun still felt a certain hostility towards the eldest lady, so she didn't want to go. "Isn't it okay if I don't go? Isn't that a bad idea? You don't want to come? Then forget it." Lin Yi could guess what Tang Yun was thinking. There was definitely still some grudge between her and the eldest lady. Chu Mengyao wanted to take the phone and talk to Tang Yun herself, but she couldn't bring herself to do it. So she winked at Chen Yushu, asking her to speak on her behalf. "Sister Yao, look, Tang Yun doesn't dare to come, does she?" Chen Yushu blinked and leaned over to Lin Yi's phone. Chu Mengyao was immediately trembling with anger. This Chen Yushu was really pissing her off. "I asked her to invite Tang Yun on my behalf, and she said something like that? Isn't this just continuing to be Tang Yun's enemy?" Tang Yun also heard Chen Yushu's words and suddenly became a little anxious. "Who said I don't dare to come? I'll be there right now." It must be said that Chen Yushu's provocation was effective. No matter what, Tang Yun made a decision. "Let's meet in the parking lot in front of the hospital," Lin Yi said. "Okay, I'll be there right now." Tang Yun didn't want Chen Yushu to look down on her, as if she was afraid of them. After hanging up the phone, before Lin Yi could say anything, Chen Yushu cheered, "Sister Yao, I'm amazing, aren't I? I tricked Tang Yun into coming here with just one sentence. You tricked her into coming here, but I was going to thank you." "How can I thank you if you're like this?" Chu Mengyao shook her head helplessly. "You can thank me when she comes. I just tricked her into coming here," Chen Yushu said innocently. Chu Mengyao didn't want to argue with Chen Yushu anymore. The more she argued, the more headache she'd get. She simply asked Lin Yi, "Did you drive Zia Oshu's beetle?" "Barely enough for 4 people, Lin Yi said. "Oh, Zia Oshu and I will sit in the back," Chu Mengyao nodded. "Next time, I'll drive the S5, Lin Yi nodded. He hadn't dared to mess with a young lady's car before, but now it seemed she didn't care about such matters. "I want to sit in the front. I'll show Brother Wrigley the way. I know a really cool Western restaurant." Chen Yushu, however, refused to sit in the back. It wasn't clear if she did this on purpose, but she wanted Chu Mengyao and Tang Yun to sit together. "You can also show me the way in the back," Chu Mengyao said. "I'm nearsighted, and I can't see clearly in the back." Chen Yushu shook her head. "You're nearsighted? Then I won't eat. I'll take you to see a doctor now. We're in the hospital now, so a laser surgery will be all that's needed." Chu Mengyao pointed to the hospital behind them. Chapter 711. A little jealous. "Oh, I'm fine again. I can see clearly again." Chen Yushu waved her hands repeatedly. Chu Mengyao glared at her. She had been glaring at her all day long, and her eyes were about to be damaged. Lin Yi was already accustomed to the quarrels between Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. The two of them weren't always like this, noisy, but their relationship was shockingly good. Chu Mengyao pulled Chen Yushu into the back seat. The beetle's back seat wasn't spacious, but it was still enough for 2 petite girls. Chen Yushu felt a little uncomfortable. "It's so crowded. I want to sit in the front." "Your breasts are too big," So they're squeezed. Just cut them off, Chu Mengyao said unhappily. At this moment, Lin Yi didn't get in the car, but leaned against the driver's door waiting for Tang Yun, so Chu Mengyao dared to say such words. However, Lin Yi's hearing was extraordinary and he could hear everything clearly from outside. Sister Yao, you are jealous of me. Chen Yushu protected her chest and looked at Chu Mengyao warily. Who cares? Big breasts are common, so it's nothing new these days. Chu Mengyao curled her lips. That's right. The first and second wives should each have their own unique characteristics. Having them both be the same wouldn't be good, it wouldn't be attractive. Chen Yushu nodded in agreement. Chu Mengyao couldn't respond to Chen Yushu's words, so she stopped talking. Soon, Tang Yun emerged from the first inpatient ward. Seeing Lin Yi, she hurried over. Through the car window, one could see Tang Yun's well-proportioned figure. Her breasts weren't too big, not too small, her legs were straight and slender, and she was just as tall as Chu Mengyao. In the parking lot, bathed in the sunset, her ponytail swung, exuding an indescribable youthful air. Chu Mengyao had to admit that Tang Yun was perfect, a classic beauty, which made her a little jealous. The two of us won't lose to her alone. Chen Yushu, who also saw Tang Yun and saw Chu Mengyao's somewhat unyielding expression, said. Chu Mengyao was speechless. A massive wave of people? Or a three-way attack? Even if she won, wouldn't she be ashamed? Besides, when would she marry Lin Yi? She just thought he took better care of her. Seeing the beetle behind Lin Yi, Tang Yun was startled. She had ridden in this car before, but it was obviously not Lin Yi's car. It should belong to Chu Mengyao or Chen Yushu. Have you been waiting for a long time? Sorry, Tang Yun said apologetically, adjusting her bangs. In front of Chu Mengyao, she couldn't lose her composure, otherwise, Tang Yun wouldn't have said that at other times. It's okay, get in the car. Lin Yi opened the passenger door for Tang Yun. At this time, Tang Yun also saw Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu sitting in the back seat, and felt a little embarrassed. Is it not good for me to sit in the front? Oh, that's exactly what I want to sit in the front. Let's switch. Chen Yushu was immediately happy when she saw that Tang Yun was still unwilling to sit in the front. Xiaoshu, shut up. Chu Mengyao covered Chen Yushu's mouth with her hand, glared at her, and then said to Tang Yun, you're the guest, so naturally you should sit in the front. Chu Mengyao actually thought so too. The car was a bit small, and it wouldn't be convenient for Tang Yun to sit in the back. Tang Yun felt a little embarrassed when she heard Chen Yushu wanted to sit in the front. But it was also a bit awkward for her to sit next to the eldest daughter. For a moment, she felt a dilemma. Tang Yun, don't listen to Xiaoshu's nonsense. That's just her personality. She's always making a fuss. You'll understand after spending time with her. Chu Mengyao saw Tang Yun's embarrassment and immediately felt embarrassed. When you treat someone to a meal, you should express your gratitude, not declare war. It's hard to say what will happen in the future, but today, she must be sincere. Haha, yes, Tang Yun smiled, but inwardly, she wondered, how could they possibly interact more in the future? The luxurious life that Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu lived was too far away for her. She still hadn't found a house of her own. Tang Yun got in the car, and Lin Yi followed. He started the car and asked, what are we eating? Where are we going? Listen, I know a super cool Western restaurant, Chen Yushu said. Seeing Chu Mengyao didn't object, Lin Yi nodded and said, okay, turn left ahead, then right, and get on the elevated road. Take the middle entrance, then exit at the exit on the right in front. Chen Yushu began giving directions, more efficient than a navigation system. Lin Yi followed Chen Yushu's instructions and parked the car in front of a restaurant called Super Cool Couples Western Restaurant. Lin Yi was speechless. The name of this restaurant was just as outrageous as that awesome floating cloud bar. Could they be chains? Chu Mengyao looked at the large sign, at a loss for words. It was indeed super cool. But, it was a couples restaurant? Would that mean only couples would come here? What was the point of the four of them coming here? This grouping was a bit strange, wasn't it? Xiaoshu, is this a couple's restaurant? How about we try another? Chu Mengyao frowned, seeing that the restaurant was full of couples. We're all here, why not change? I'm starving, Chen Yushu urged, shaking her head. Chu Mengyao had no choice but to have Lin Yi park the car and prepare to get out. The doorman at the restaurant's entrance had expected a couple to get out of the Beetle, but instead, 4 people got out. Suddenly, he felt something was amiss. "Excuse me, are you all here for dinner?" "Nonsense. If we're not here to eat, why would we park here? It's not fun here." Chen Yushu thought the doorman was a complete idiot, asking such a stupid question. "Oh, then," the doorman shook his head, thinking, could it be two couples? One of them is a lesbian. With a sinister thought, he ushered Lin Yi and the other three into the restaurant, where a lobby attendant arrived to greet them. "Good evening," the lobby manager approached and said politely. "Give me a private room." Chen Yushu looked at the furnishings of the Western-style restaurant curiously. She had seen an introduction about this Western-style restaurant on the internet before, saying that it was a paradise for lovers. Chen Yushu wanted to see it, but there were no lovers. She heard that non-couples were not welcome here, so she had to give up. However, today she had the opportunity. "One room," the lobby manager was slightly surprised. "Four of you, one room?" "Oh," Chen Yushu nodded. "I'm sorry, miss, this is a Western-style restaurant for couples. We only have private rooms and couple booths for couples. It is only open to couples," the lobby manager explained, thinking that they were just a few guests who had stumbled in by accident. Chapter 712 We are couples. "Yes, give us a couple's room," Chen Yushu said. "Sorry, you four can only have two rooms. One room is not allowed." The lobby manager was a little impatient. "Are these people here to cause trouble? Couples' rooms and couples' booths are charged by the hour. If four people share a room, wouldn't the Western restaurant be at a loss?" "Who said we are not a couple?" Chen Yushu was unwilling. "We are a couple." "Huh? Four people? All couples?" The lobby manager didn't believe Chen Yushu's words. He was sure that these four people were definitely here to cause trouble. However, they were blind. They dared to cause trouble in Brother Lei's place. They must be tired of living, right? "Yet, I'm Brother Arrow's concubine. Sister Yao is Brother Arrow's wife, and she's Brother Arrow's girlfriend. Why can't we just go to the same private room?" Chen Yushu explained impatiently. "Hey, Baldy, why are you so slow? We're here to spend money, why are you so nosy?" The lobby manager was immediately disdainful when he heard what Chen Yushu said. "Isn't this nonsense? Big wife, little wife, and a girlfriend? Does she think she's a fool? Moreover, this chick actually dared to call herself Baldy? I'm bald, okay? It's very popular on the street. Come to spend money? I think you're here to cause trouble, right?" The lobby manager's attitude also became stern. "I advise you to leave quickly if you know what's good for you. I don't care who sent you here, tell him that it's Brother Lei's territory, and it's not someone else's turn to be arrogant. Are you sick? What's with Brother Lei, Brother Yu, and Brother Lightning? We're here to eat." Chen Yushu thought that this Baldy had a problem with his brain. Why was he saying such incomprehensible things? The lobby manager sneered and said calmly, "Our private room can only accommodate two people. If you come to dine, I welcome you. Let's open two rooms." Xiaoshu, Chu Mengyao also frowned. She was the eldest daughter and usually had a high and mighty presence. When had she ever been looked down upon like this? Especially since she was here to invite Tang Yun today, and she just left in such disgrace. How could she have any face left? The key issue is that if this was really the rule of this Western restaurant, it would be fine. But Chu Mengyao saw three people enter a private room with her own eyes. So she stopped Xiaoshu and asked her not to speak. She said to the lobby manager, "I just saw three people enter a private room. Am I dazzled? They were in that room." As she spoke, Chu Mengyao pointed to the 101 private room not far behind the lobby manager. After hearing what Chu Mengyao said, the lobby manager was amused. Sure enough, they are here to mess things up. Brother Lei, there are people making trouble here. The four of them insist on having a private room. The person in the 101 private room was none other than Brother Lei, the owner of this super cool couple's Western restaurant, and he did bring two girls into the 101 private room because he was preparing for the third batch. He is the boss here, so he can do whatever he wants. Brother Lei had just entered the private room and was about to start the fight when he heard the lobby manager's shout. He frowned immediately, pushed open the door of the private room and walked out, saying loudly, "What's going on? Damn, who is making trouble at this time? Don't want to live anymore." Lin Yi understood what was going on. It turned out that this Brother Lei in the 101 private room was the owner of this Western restaurant. Chu Mengyao's example was in vain. He was the boss, so it didn't matter how many people he brought, but the rule of the Western restaurant was that only couples could enter a private room. This is also one of the ways for Western restaurants to make money. Otherwise, if a large group of people go to a private room, then this Western restaurant will definitely not make so much money. The decoration inside this super cool couple's Western restaurant is very elegant and high-end, and it is counting on the private room fees to make money. Generally, couples go to the private room, eat and drink red wine. In this romantic environment, it is inevitable that they will think about sex after being full and do some love things. In this way, unless you are a quick shooter, it will take a long time, and the private room fees will naturally be earned. But if a large group of people go to the private room, what else will happen? They will leave after eating, so how can the Western restaurant make money? The price of the dishes here is basically affordable and not profitable. It relies on some attractive decorations and atmosphere. Lin Yi can know these things by taking a look at the price list at the door, so it is understandable that the lobby manager is unwilling, and Lin Yi is too lazy to care about these things. Ultimately, while the restaurant's management practices were somewhat shady, they were willing to operate that way, and the Administration for Industry and Commerce wouldn't bother them, so naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't interfere. Yeo, Zia Oshu, let's go. Since this place isn't working, let's go somewhere else. Lin Yi didn't want to waste time arguing. He knew Chu Mengyao was worried about losing face, so he took the initiative to leave. After hearing Lin Yi's words, Chu Mengyao gave up her insistence. After all, it was Lin Yi who suggested leaving first, so there was no need to lose face. She nodded and said, okay, let's go somewhere else. Really? Turning down business when you have it? What a psycho. Chen Yushu wanted to see the private room. She heard they even had sex toys for couples, and she was very curious, but it seemed that wouldn't happen today. Brother Lei was already upset that he was interrupted while he was about to play with a woman, but when he saw Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, and Tang Yun making a scene, his eyes almost popped out. No way? What a gorgeous girl. 3 of them came at once. Brother Lei has played with quite a few women. He runs a Western restaurant and makes a fortune every day. He also relies on his cousin who is doing well, so he is rich and arrogant. Naturally, he uses threats and coaxes to get beautiful girls, and has gotten quite a few of them. But Brother Lei has never played with the 3 girls in front of him. He has seen girls who are almost as pretty as these 3, but they are all experienced veterans who don't have any innocence at all. Brother Lei doesn't enjoy playing with them very much. And the girl in front of him looks very pure, maybe she is still a virgin. How could Brother Lei let them slip away from him? What's their background? Brother Lei asked Mob Island in a low voice. 4 people, they came in a beetle, and the man was driving, Mob Island responded in a low voice. Brother Lei nodded, and he had a plan in his mind. 4 people driving a beetle? Generally speaking, the best number of passengers for a beetle is 2. 4 people would seem a bit crowded. Moreover, the beetle is not a very expensive car. If a man drives a beetle with 3 girls, it is obvious that this man has no background. Chapter 713, No Good End. Driving 1 girl in a beetle is considered showing off, but driving 3 is a bit shabby, even worse than driving a random hatchback. And these 3 girls actually squeezed into the same car with him. Obviously, they have never seen the world. Otherwise, who would squeeze into a car? 3 beautiful women came here to eat to give me, Li, a favor. Bailan, how could you turn them away? Brother Lei scolded the lobby manager with a feigned anger. Bailan was stunned, then understood what Brother Lei meant. Brother Lei must have taken a fancy to these 3 girls. Hey, don't say that these 3 girls are really good looking, but they are also unlucky. They ran to Brother Lei's territory and acted arrogantly. Isn't this like a sheep walking into the tiger's mouth? Sorry, Brother Lei, Mob Island said quickly. He deliberately acted humble to highlight Brother Lei's tall image. 3 beautiful women, please come in quickly. Bailan, why don't you prepare a private room? Brother Lei winked at him. No, we're not eating here. Chu Mengyao felt a little uncomfortable at Brother Lei's lustful gaze, so she took Chen Yushu's hand and prepared to leave. Tang Yun had remained silent. With Lin Yi here, there was no need for her to speak. She knew Lin Yi wouldn't let anyone bully her. Haha, since you're here, let's stay here. I'm sorry for the inconvenience I've shown you earlier. How about I personally toast you all and apologize? Brother Lei looked at Chu Mengyao with a smile. If you're still angry, all your bills for today will be mine. All for free. Brother Lei wanted to keep Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, and Tang Yun here. As for Lin Yi, he didn't take him seriously. He didn't think Lin Yi had any close relationship with these three girls. The three girls were clearly still virgins, so Brother Lei suspected that Lin Yi might just be an ordinary friend or a pervert like himself who had intentions towards them. Oh, in that case, Sister Yao, let's stay here. Chen Yushu was a little tempted. She wanted to see the private room in this Western restaurant. Were there any of the legendary sex toys inside? Chu Mengyao hesitated, but seeing how much Chen Yushu wanted to stay, she didn't insist. Okay, but you don't have to give it a waiver. We'll pay for the meal and the private room. It's fine if you want to double it. Chu Mengyao didn't want to owe Brother Lei any favors, so she'd rather pay double for the private room. Don't you think you're losing money with 4 people in one room? Then just double it. Oh. Great. Seeing Chu Mengyao agree, Chen Yushu immediately pulled her along, eager to go inside. Lin Yi and Tang Yun followed behind them. Lin Yi felt a little embarrassed to hold Tang Yun's hand in front of the young lady. Wait, you can't go in. At Brother Lei's signal, Ma Bailan extended his hand in front of Lin Yi, preventing him from entering. Lin Yi frowned slightly. It seemed that Brother Lei and Ma Bailan had decided to make a big deal out of this. Lin Yi stopped, and Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, and Tang Yun in front of him also stopped. If Lin Yi couldn't go, why were they still going? Why didn't you let him in? Chu Mengyao frowned. Are you not keeping your word? I only said to let the 3 beauties in, but I didn't say to let this guy in too. Brother Lei gave Lin Yi a disdainful look and said to Chu Mengyao and the others, forget him. Please come in, we're not eating. Chu Mengyao was furious. This guy wouldn't let Lin Yi in? Then what were they supposed to eat? Chu Mengyao suppressed her anger, not wanting Tang Yun to see her young lady's arrogance. She simply said, let's go, Zia Oshu. Oh, Chen Yushu nodded obediently this time. What was the point of going to the private room without letting Brother Arrow in? Even if there were sex toys, who would she play with? So, she lost interest. Tang Yun, of course, was following Lin Yi. If Lin Yi couldn't come in, why was she here? She turned around and tried to leave. What? You 3 won't do me the honor. Brother Lei felt he had miscalculated. I didn't expect that these 3 pretty girls thought so highly of Lin Yi. Before, Brother Lei didn't think Lin Yi was that important, and thought he was just a rich guy, but now it seems that's not the case. If I had known this, I would have let Lin Yi in as well, and then find a way to get rid of him. But now, the words have been said, and if he lets Lin Yi in as well, wouldn't he look too weak? He is still planning to pick up girls, how can he bow his head? So Brother Lei saw that using tricks didn't work, so he had to use force. He has already taken a fancy to these 3 top-notch girls, and there is no way he will let them go. Get out of the way. We're not eating anymore. Chu Mengyao was not afraid of what these people would do because Lin Yi was there. You eat when you say you want to eat, and you don't eat when you say you don't want to eat. Do you think this Western restaurant is owned by your family? Ma Bailan also understood what the boss meant at this moment. Soft tactics didn't work, so he had to use force. Ma Bailan naturally blocked the way of Chu Mengyao and the other 2 arrogantly. Sister Yao, leave it to me. Seeing the conflict escalate, Chen Yushu immediately became eager to try. She let go of Chu Mengyao's hand and rushed towards Ma Bailan. Ma Bailan was stunned, not knowing what Chen Yushu was going to do. As a result, before he could figure out what was going on, tragedy struck. Chen Yushu kicked Ma Bailan in the crotch, causing him to scream and roll his eyes. He squatted on the ground, covering his lower body, with beads of sweat rolling down his forehead. Oh yeah, Chen Yushu shouted happily, making a victory sign with her fingers. Sister Yao, I actually hide him with one shot. He is more resistant than a shark. Chen Yushu has always been this fearless character. She dared to fight zombies and sharks, let alone Ma Bailan, a lobby manager. But she didn't expect Ma Bailan to be so fragile. He was kicked and squatted on the ground and couldn't get up. In fact, Ma Bailan was not fragile, but he was completely defenseless. Because Ma Bailan simply didn't think that Chen Yushu could do anything to him. Imagine, a beautiful girl with a baby face and big breasts runs towards you. What is your first thought? How could you think that she would use such a cruel move as a crotch kick? Lin Yi shrugged. It seems that this matter cannot end well. Lin Yi is not a person who likes to bully others casually, but when he is bullied, he will never act as if nothing happened. However, today's incident was basically a misunderstanding. Chen Yushu asked for a 4-person couples box. Although what she said seemed reasonable, it was actually nonsense. It was understandable that Mob Island refused to provide the box. Naturally, Lin Yi could not do anything to Mob Island because of this. Chapter 714 I'm not going to leave. But Brother Lei, who had appeared later, had clearly complicated matters. Lin Yi knew exactly what he was thinking. He was tempted by her beauty and wanted to keep Chu Mengyao and the other two. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't let him succeed, but what Lin Yi hadn't expected was that Chen Yushu had struck first. Brother Lei was also clearly taken aback by this scene. He hadn't expected a girl as small as Chen Yushu to pull off such a brutal move, and with a single strike, she had instantly reduced Mob Island to a shrewd state. This blow must have been enough to make Mob Island feel unbearable, and it was doubtful if he would ever walk again. Brother Lei's expression immediately darkened. Okay, very good, quite spicy, but I like it. Brother Lei's eyes, brimming with lustful conquest, gazed at Chen Yushu. Let's just call it a day. I'm in a good mood. I don't want to do anything to you, and I won't be coming here again. What do you think? Lin Yi glanced at Brother Lei and said calmly. There was a condescending air in his gaze, for in truth, he was nothing in Lin Yi's eyes. Since Chen Yushu had already taught them a lesson, Lin Yi decided not to continue arguing with him. Today was supposed to be a celebration, and Lin Yi didn't want to let a few minor figures ruin his mood. Huh? Lei Jie was stunned, then burst into laughter, looking at Lin Yi as if he were an idiot. Mob Island, who was squatting on the ground with his body hunched over, couldn't help but laugh. He laughed so happily, as if forgetting the pain in his body. Brother Arrow, are they stupid? Chen Yushu looked at Lei Jie and Mob Island with a bit of surprise. How could someone suddenly laugh so happily? Was something provoking them? Xiaoshu, Chu Mengyao signaled Chen Yushu to stop talking at this moment. Chen Yushu's previous kick had complicated things a bit, and there was no telling if it would end well. Chu Mengyao didn't want to waste time arguing with these people. She really wanted to treat Tang Yun to dinner. Oh, I get it, Chen Yushu suddenly exclaimed. They're so happy because Brother Arrow said he'd let them go. They're laughing so happily. Chu Mengyao, Lin Yi, and Tang Yun couldn't help laughing after hearing what Chen Yushu said. However, Lin Yi and Chu Mengyao weren't already used to it. Tang Yun only then truly understood what Chu Mengyao had said in the car. Chen Yushu's personality is just like that. The more you get to know her, the more you understand her. She is indeed a very cheerful girl, always so happy, not nervous at all. Girl, your joke isn't funny. Brother Lei clapped his hands and said, today, none of you can leave. Just as Brother Lei was clapping his hands, a group of burly men in black suits quickly ran over and surrounded Lin Yi and the other three in a circle. One of the leaders, a man with a scarred face, turned respectfully to Brother Lei and said, Brother Lei, what should we do now? Break the men and throw them out, knock the women unconscious and keep them. A ruthless look crossed Brother Lei's face. His restaurant had been vandalized. If word got out, he'd be finished. Oh, they've called in reinforcements. That's what villains in cartoons usually do after getting beaten up, but do you know the consequences? Chen Yushu suddenly asked. Initially, the entire restaurant lobby was filled with a tense atmosphere, but after Chen Yushu's words, everyone's faces took on strange expressions, and the atmosphere suddenly relaxed. Isn't this girl afraid? With so many people standing here, how could she still have the heart to say such inexplicable things? Girl, you have big breasts, I like them. Brother Lei glanced at Chen Yushu and licked his lips. I can tell you the consequences, that is, you will become my plaything. Brother Lei was no fool, and he didn't dare to play with just anyone, but he had heard from Mob Island before that the four of them came in a beetle, so what kind of background could they have? If it were 2 people, he would have to think about it, but with 4 people, it was certain that no one except the man had a car. How could those powerful children not have cars? Moreover, Brother Lei knew about the several famous young men in Songshan City. He had never met Lin Yi. So he was also unscrupulous. Bang! But as Brother Lei was speaking, Chen Yushu suddenly kicked out and hit the scarred man who was surrounding her in front of her again. The scarred man had just turned to look at Brother Lei, but was caught off guard by a kick from Chen Yushu in the groin. His eyes nearly popped out, and he let out a loud ouch, clutching his groin and crouching on the ground. Ouch! Another kick. These guys are worse than sharks, so weak. Chen Yushu cheered. Sister Yao, come join us. It's going to be fun. Brother Lei's face darkened. This was a challenge. Chen Yushu had the audacity to fight one of his men in front of so many people. She didn't even take him seriously. He sneered, Don't waste time talking to them. Just go for it. Take down any women who resist. Chu Mengyao glanced at Chen Yushu with a hint of frustration. She was making things worse. Fortunately, with Lin Yi around, she wasn't worried about being stuck. You really won't let us leave? Lin Yi glanced at Brother Lei. Huh? Do you know who I am? No one has ever been able to walk out of this place unscathed after causing trouble on my turf. Li, Brother Lei laughed arrogantly. You all have to stay here today, especially that girl. I'd like to tell you that my cousin is Li Chihua. You can consider your own worth. If you know what's good for you, girls, please serve me well. If you kneel down and beg me, I might even consider letting you go. Your cousin is Li Chihua. Lin Yi was a little surprised. No wonder these two brothers have such awesome names. One is Chihua and the other is Dili. One is the awesome floating cloud bar, and the other is the super cool Western restaurant. It's a perfect match. Are you scared now? Brother Lei really enjoyed this feeling. Every time he mentioned his cousin's name, those who came to cause trouble would be scared to death. And they would also voluntarily give up their women for his entertainment. This time, Brother Lei also thought so. He wanted the three girls to serve him voluntarily. There was no point in forcing them. Oh, I'm not leaving. After Lin Yi heard that this person was Li Chihua's cousin, he didn't plan to leave. Li Chihua and Bing Xiao had been dancing around quite a bit lately, and Lin Yi hadn't settled the score with them yet. They kept popping up again and again. Chu Mengyao's poisoning was probably related to Li Chihua. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 715, Not Enough. So, since Li Yi was Li Chihua's cousin, Lin Yi planned to use Li Yi to test the doctor beside Li Chihua, the one who poisoned her. Lin Yi, be careful. Tang Yun saw Lin Yi walking towards the men in black and quickly warned him. Tang Yun, you don't understand, Brother Arrow. It's these bad guys who need to be careful, Chen Yushu said to Tang Yun. Tang Yun pouted, thinking, how could she not understand Lin Yi? She knew him well, right? How could these petty thieves be a match for Lin Yi? Wasn't she concerned about him? I told him to be careful and not hurt anyone, Tang Yun said. Oh, it's okay if he hurts anyone. We were acting in self-defense. Anyway, that vixen Song Lingshan is really scared of Brother Arrow, Chen Yushu said nonchalantly. Li Yi's expression changed. He hadn't expected these people to be so fearless in such a situation. There were only two possibilities. The first was that ignorance was bliss, and they were all fools. The second was that they were absolutely certain they could get out of here. Previously, Li Yi had thought they were the first possibility, and he'd found it hilarious. But now, Li Yi was leaning towards the second possibility. After hearing Li Chihua's name, Lin Yi wasn't afraid at all. He actually came forward and said he wasn't leaving. Of course, that wasn't the main point. The main point was that Chen Yushu had actually mentioned Song Lingshan, and she even dared to call her a vixen. Li Yi was no stranger to Song Lingshan's name. She was the captain of the city police's criminal investigation team. How could these people, who were on the underworld, not have heard of her? Could these people be related to Song Lingshan? Thinking of this, Li Yi felt a little uneasy. After a moment's hesitation, he decided to find out more about these people before speaking. Gentlemen, you dare to come here and cause trouble? I'm afraid you have some support, right? Tell me, don't let the flood wash away the Dragon King Temple. Lin Yi could tell that this was Li Yi's disguised compromise. After hearing Song Lingshan's name, he changed his mind. Song Lingshan could deal with someone like Li Yi, regardless of his connections. Of course, putting him in jail directly would be difficult, but constantly causing trouble would be enough to make you suffer. Could someone like Li Yi have no evidence at all? Obviously not. However, Lin Yi did not reply. Ever since Lin Yi learned of his relationship with Li Chihua, his fate had been sealed. He was destined to be Lin Yi's test subject for Li Chihua, or perhaps the poisoner close to Bing Xiao. Since you won't talk, I have no other choice. Regardless of your connections, you'll have to give me an explanation for causing trouble in my Western restaurant. Capture him, Li Yi said calmly. He wasn't afraid of trouble. So what if he knew Song Lingshan? If he didn't take action against those girls, that would be the end of it. Beating that guy up would be a way to vent his anger and regain some face. Even if Song Lingshan found out, she wouldn't do anything to him. At most, she would have to pay him some money and that would be the end of it. The men in black looked at Lin Yi warily, but they weren't too scared. After all, they had a huge advantage in numbers, while Lin Yi was the only one who could take action. As for Chen Yushu, they didn't take her seriously at all. They were just trying to catch her off guard and attack her. She had no fighting power at all. Their eyes were fixed on Lin Yi, and the moment he approached, they moved. They didn't act arrogantly and attacked him in a group, ready to take him down in one fell swoop. They had already lost face, and they wanted to redeem themselves. However, their intention was good. They moved, and Lin Yi did too. However, Lin Yi's speed was far greater than theirs. Before they could see what was happening, they felt a pain in their necks and their vision went black. They lost consciousness. "Oh, Brother Arrow is so awesome, but can you spare me one? I haven't had enough fun yet," Chen Yushu screamed excitedly. "You're a little late." Lin Yi had just knocked out the last man in black. He was about to fall to the floor, but Lin Yi pulled him back. He casually massaged him twice, then pushed him to Chen Yushu. "But it's okay, I woke him up again." "Oh," Chen Yushu looked at Lin Yi in admiration. He was so amazing. After knocking him out, he could still wake him up? Chen Yushu eagerly watched the man in black staggering towards her, ready to kick. The man's face was filled with fear, his eyes filled with terror, but he had no strength to resist. After Lin Yi's push, he stumbled towards Chen Yushu as if by inertia. He didn't know what was wrong with him, why he was out of control. In fact, Lin Yi had indeed tampered with him, otherwise Lin Yi would never have allowed such a dangerous person to get close to Chen Yushu and the others. But now, the man in black was like a puppet, completely powerless to resist. Not only the man in black, but even Li Yi's eyes were filled with shock and fear. He had previously been terrified by Lin Yi's instantaneous knockout of all his men, but now he was terrified that Lin Yi could actually wake them up after knocking them unconscious. However, something even more terrifying happened next. Li Yi watched as his last standing man was kicked in the crotch by Chen Yushu. He rolled his eyes and collapsed to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Although the diners in the Western restaurant had heard the sounds of fighting coming from the lobby, who would dare to come out at this time? Fearing that they would be implicated, they locked their doors tightly. Couples passing by the Western restaurant on their way to dinner turned away after seeing what was happening in the lobby. Li Yi watched Lin Yi approach him step by step, filled with fear. This man was truly fearless. He had miscalculated. "Brother Arrow, how about letting me kick this one too?" Chen Yushu was addicted to kicking, and felt that kicking bad guys was an extremely refreshing thing. Li Yi's face twitched twice. "Let you kick me? Then I will have no descendants, right? Brother, let's talk it over, everyone makes money in harmony." Li Yi was afraid that Lin Yi would come and push him to Chen Yushu. Wouldn't he just die? He knew that he was no match for Lin Yi, so many of his men were no match for Lin Yi, and he was no better than those people. Lin Yi ignored him, and casually took out silver needles from his pocket. With a casual shake of his right hand, dozens of silver needles flew out and pierced Li Yi's body. Chapter 716 Let him fend for himself. "Ah!" Li Yi cried out in shock. He thought he was going to die, but after the shock, he realized he felt nothing. He couldn't help but wonder, did they hit me? However, when Li Yi lowered his head to look, he suddenly realized that his body was covered with silver needles. Under the lights of the Western restaurant lobby, each one gleamed and looked terrifying. These silver needles, in his body? Li Yi was immediately shocked. He didn't know what tricks Lin Yi was using, but he wasn't stupid. He knew it was definitely not an ordinary trick, and he couldn't be playing a joke on him. Lin Yi's methods for dealing with his men before were more fierce than they looked now. How could he be any easier against him? Obviously, it was impossible, but he didn't know what Lin Yi meant by this trick. "What did you do to me? What are these silver needles for?" Li Yi asked in horror, raising his hands, because there was also a silver needle in each of his hands. "You'll know after you pull it out," Lin Yi said lightly, "but you'd better not pull it out. Call your cousin quickly." If Lin Yi hadn't said it, Li Yi would really pull out the silver needle, but after Lin Yi said that, he didn't dare to pull it out. Lin Yi's words were scary. Who knows what serious consequences it will cause. After Lin Yi finished speaking, he didn't want to care whether Li Yi pulled out the needle or not. He turned to Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu and Tang Yun and said, Let's go. Let's go to another restaurant and not eat here. Lin Yi had no choice but to smile bitterly at this moment. He never expected that things would turn out like this. He could only watch Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, Chen Yusu and Tang Yun leave. But Chen Yusu didn't seem to want to leave. He turned around and looked at the silver needles on Lin Yi's body curiously. Brother Arrow, what on earth is that? Can I pull one out and try it? Don't pull it out. He will die if you pull it out, Lin Yi said. Oh, is that so? Well, forget it. I don't want to kill anyone. Chen Yusu shook her head. Then let him fend for himself. Lin Yi's forehead was sweating profusely. Would he really die if the needle was removed? He didn't know, but at this moment, Chen Yusu's words nearly drove him crazy. The four of them left the super cool couple's Western restaurant. Chu Mengyao saw Chen Yusu still flailing excitedly, wanting to say something, and quickly pushed her aside. Xiaoshu, get in the car first. Okay, Chen Yusu nodded, getting in first. Chu Mengyao then said to Tang Yun, I'm sorry, Tang Yun. I was going to treat you to dinner, but I didn't expect it to turn out like this. Xiaoshu is just like that, always getting into trouble. Don't mind, you'll get used to it. Tang Yun was slightly surprised by Chu Mengyao's explanation. Was this Chu Mengyao's arrogant, domineering personality? It seemed not. Or was she actually quite approachable? Tang Yun shook her head. Nothing. No one wants to encounter something like this. After all, this restaurant is a bit too much. Chu Mengyao was relieved to see that Tang Yun wasn't upset. She had indeed come to thank Tang Yun today. Regardless of any previous conflicts or competition between the two, Chu Mengyao sincerely wanted to treat Tang Yun to dinner today. She was afraid Tang Yun would think that Chen Yusu had brought her to such a place on purpose to mess things up. Meeting this Lin Yi is a good thing. I was just thinking of testing Li Chihua. Lin Yi waved his hand. Let's get in the car. Chu Mengyao and Tang Yun didn't quite understand Lin Yi's words. Why would meeting Lin Yi be a good thing? But since Lin Yi didn't say it directly, they didn't ask. Chu Mengyao didn't want Tang Yun to look down on her, as if she was using her employer's status to spy on Lin Yi's privacy at any time. Tang Yun felt the same way. She didn't want Chu Mengyao to think that she was controlling everything and leaving Lin Yi with no personal space at all. After getting in the car, Chu Mengyao asked Chen Yusu, Xiaoshu, let's go to another restaurant. Let's not look for one like this anymore. Where did you hear about this restaurant? I saw it on the internet. They said it's very nice and romantic, and nothing more. I just wanted to come and see it. Chen Yusu almost let it slip and mentioned the sex toys, so she quickly shut up. There's nothing to see. Don't believe these advertisements in the future. Chu Mengyao had a very bad impression of this restaurant and decided not to come again. Oh, I know another one. Chen Yusu was about to speak when she was interrupted by Chu Mengyao. Okay, let's go to my family's hotel. Chu Mengyao didn't want anything to go wrong anymore, so it would be safer to go to her own hotel. When Tang Yun heard what Chu Mengyao said, her heart skipped a beat. The gap between herself and Chu Mengyao was really huge. Her family both owned hotels, while she didn't even own a house. This was Tang Yun's only real weakness in front of Lin Yi. In terms of looks, she was no worse than Chu Mengyao or Chen Yusu, but when it came to Lin Yi's best choices, it had to be either Chu Mengyao or Chen Yusu. Furthermore, Chen Yusu seemed completely obsessed with a buy one get one free deal and becoming his concubine. Tang Yun was having a headache. Lin Yi hadn't known Tang Yun much well on this. He drove to the Pengzhan Hotel, where Chu Pengzhan had previously hosted a family dinner, which Lin Yi had also attended. Chu Pengzhan had originally planned to hold this gathering weekly, but the incident with the falling chandelier had put it on hold. Today was Lin Yi's second visit to the Pengzhan Hotel, and while it was bustling with people, the cars in front of the door were no less dazzling than those at the Starlight Palace. However, the cars here tended to be more business-oriented. While they were all luxurious, sports cars were rare. It seems that Chu Pengzhan's hotel focuses on formal business negotiations and meetings, while Xinguang Kikan focuses on entertainment, and more young men and women go there. Lin Yi drove the car into the parking lot, and a security guard directed Lin Yi to park the car properly. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yusu rarely appear here. Even when they occasionally dine with Chu Pengzhan, they drive directly into the internal parking lot in Fu Bo's car and go up through the employee entrance. Therefore, the security guards parking at the door don't know the young lady. Chu Mengyao didn't act like a young lady. She entered the hotel lobby very low-key with Lin Yi, Chen Yusu, and Tang Yun. They easily asked for a private room, and the four of them went upstairs. Tang Yun was a little surprised. Did the employees here know Chu Mengyao? It seemed that they didn't know her. Chapter 717 Common Points. Tang Yun saw the Jebel sons and daughters of wealthy families in soap operas, accompanied by the general manager when they visited the family's hotel or shopping mall, offering fawning compliments. This was also why Tang Yun felt a gap between herself and the eldest daughter. But now it seemed that the eldest daughter was truly humble. Since people here didn't know her, she didn't put on airs. Despite growing up in a wealthy family, Chu Mengyao hadn't developed a domineering personality. This was partly due to Chu Pengzhan's strict upbringing, and partly because she was quite lonely and didn't make friends easily. Growing up, she only had Chen Yushu as a close friend, and the rest weren't particularly close. This helped keep her from being influenced by bad company. Both grew up without maternal love, leading to their own extreme personalities. However, they shared a common trait: they didn't have many friends. Chu Mengyao only had Chen Yushu, while Pengzhan Xiao had none at all. However, the eldest daughter had an advantage over Pengzhan Xiao in that her mother wasn't dead, so there was still hope. And with Xiaoshu by her side, she wasn't completely alone. But Pengzhan Xiao had nothing, and suffering from a terminal illness, she could only realize the value of her short life by squandering it. Arriving in the private room, Chu Mengyao handed Tang Yun the menu in the ordering machine, asking her to order. But Tang Yun had never been to such a high-end restaurant before. After flipping through 2 pages, she was shocked by the prices. How could they be so expensive? One dish alone could cover her family's food expenses for over a week. Moreover, the place was self-service. After seeing a dish on the menu, one simply entered a code into the ordering machine, which would display whether the dish was currently available in the kitchen. But Tang Yun didn't know how to use it. "I don't know how to order, so you do it," Tang Yun said honestly. Being poor was enough, and there was no need to pretend in front of Chu Mengyao. So, she returned the menu and the ordering machine to Chu Mengyao. Chu Mengyao, perhaps guessing her dilemma, took the menu without comment and ordered a few dishes. She didn't want things like bird's nest and shark's fin, as she didn't think they were tasty. But considering Tang Yun, she still ordered bird's nest porridge and handed the menu to Chen Yushu. Chen Yushu flipped through the menu and found only shark fin, not shark meat. She was immediately disappointed. "Sister Yao, I suggest Uncle Chu add a shark meat dish." Chu Mengyao was speechless. How could Daddy care so much? He even had to order the hotel dishes? After a moment's thought, she asked, "Do you want shark meat?" "A little, but I'm not sure if it's as good as what Wrigley makes," Chen Yushu said, swallowing. Tang Yun felt a little uncomfortable. Lin Yi made delicious food for them every day. Then asked the waiter if they can make it. "Do you have anything else to eat?" Chu Mengyao asked. "No," Chen Yushu shook her head. "Okay, Lin Yi, what about you?" Although Chu Mengyao's composure towards Lin Yi was gone, that was only in her heart. On the surface, her attitude towards Lin Yi seemed to have dropped to freezing point, just like when he first moved in. But was it really the same? Perhaps only Chu Mengyao could explain it, or perhaps she herself didn't understand. "That's enough. I'm not too picky about food." Lin Yi was speaking the truth. From childhood to adulthood, food had always chosen him. Wherever he went, he had to adapt to the local cuisine. But in the deep mountains, there was simply no food. Lin Yi ate whatever was available and had no choice at all. Chu Mengyao nodded, called the waiter over, handed the ordering machine to the waiter, and said, "Do you have shark meat here?" "Shark meat?" The waiter was slightly stunned, then said, "Please wait a moment, I'll ask for you." After that, the waiter picked up the intercom, asked, and after receiving a positive answer from the kitchen, he said, "Yes, miss, how would you like it cooked? Can it be grilled?" "I want to eat grilled shark meat," Chen Yushu said. "Okay, I'll ask for you," the waiter said, asking the kitchen for details before adding, "Of course, but since this dish is custom ordered for you, the price might be higher. Is that acceptable?" "It'll probably be around 600 yuan, sure," Chu Mengyao nodded calmly. Price was nothing to her. She had no concept of money. While she wouldn't fill a room with luxury goods like some gold diggers, she certainly didn't care about the price either. The waiter used the intercom to order the grilled shark and then brought the drinks. Chu Mengyao ordered juice. Since they were all girls, and Lin Yi was driving, there was no need for alcohol to impress. Tang Yun, thank you for everything today, Chu Mengyao said, raising her glass. She hesitated, then added a hint of self-mockery, but it seems we still can't be friends. Chu Mengyao was truly touched by Tang Yun's call to Lin Yi today, but even though she was touched, she wouldn't compromise on her own happiness. Tang Yun wanted to take Lin Yi away from the villa, but that was absolutely unacceptable. Now that Lin Yi was gone, where could she find someone who cared so deeply for her? Of course, the eldest lady never thought she'd ever fall in love with Lin Yi. How could she possibly like him, considering how fickle he was? I understand, Tang Yun nodded, unsurprised. She didn't think a meal with the eldest lady would resolve their conflict. I didn't want to defeat my competition by calling Lin Yi, he. Chu Mengyao smiled, but offered no explanation. Tang Yun didn't understand her dependence on Lin Yi. Oh, Sister Yao, let's not talk about this anymore. It's so dull. Unable to get a word in, Chen Yushu changed the subject. Then, Chu Mengyao downed her juice and gestured to Tang Yun. Tang Yun also took her glass and drank the juice, accepting Chu Mengyao's thanks. Tang Yun hadn't expected Chu Mengyao to thank her so formally. Their relationship was so strange, and sitting down for dinner together was a bit awkward. In fact, Tang Yun didn't understand Chu Mengyao. Since she was a child, there were not many people who really cared about her. Apart from Chu Pengzhan, Uncle Fu, Chen Yusu and a few other family members, there was only Lin Yi. Tang Yun's concern also made Chu Mengyao particularly touched. Chapter 718, Specializing in Dealing with Bad Guys. Tang Yun, how did you and Brother Arrow become friends? Chen Yushu desperately wanted to know. Lin Yi had only been in Songshan City for a month, hadn't he? Why do you call him Brother Arrow? Tang Yun didn't answer, but instead asked. She had never understood what Brother Arrow meant. Brother Arrow, she said, because, before Chen Yushu could finish, Chu Mengyao interrupted. Brother Arrow means that Xiaoshu feels that Lin Yi is like a shield, someone to protect us from trouble. Chu Mengyao didn't want Chen Yushu to reveal the original meaning of Brother Arrow. That would be embarrassing. What if it came down to her hiring Lin Yi as a shield, but then she didn't like him enough and didn't use him? Tang Yun would be so amused. Thinking about it, Chu Mengyao felt a little regretful. If she had just let Lin Yi pretend to be her boyfriend at school, what chance would Tang Yun have had? Oh, so that's it, Tang Yun nodded, not doubting it. This was the job of a bodyguard and henchman. She just didn't expect that Lin Yi was originally hired by Chu Mengyao to pretend to be her boyfriend, but the nature of his job changed later. Lin Yi sat aside without saying a word. He didn't know what to say. All this time, Lin Yi couldn't see through the eldest lady. What kind of attitude did she have towards him? When seeing the eldest lady and Tang Yun fighting openly and secretly, Lin Yi even thought that the eldest lady really liked him, but when he returned home, it seemed that it was not the case. The eldest lady hid herself very deeply, and no one knew what she was thinking. I'm afraid that what Chen Yusu saw was just the surface of the eldest lady. And in contrast, Chen Yusu should be the same. The Chen Yusu that the eldest lady saw seemed to be superficial. Lin Yi didn't believe that Chen Yusu was really so silly. Lin Yi felt that Chen Yusu was smarter than anyone else, but she just liked to live like this every day, very happy and carefree. But even though the two sisters held their feelings deeply, their love for each other was genuine, and their concern for each other was genuine. This made Lin Yi very impressed, especially after Chen Yushu knew Chu Mengyao had fainted. She remained loyal to him, sharing life and death together. It was something that few people could do. Now it's your turn to talk. How did you and Brother Arrow become friends? Chen Yushu continued to ask. Lin Yi and I, Tang Yun said, glancing at Lin Yi. Seeing that he didn't try to stop her, she began to talk as well. Thinking about what happened between her and Lin Yi, it was quite funny. Lin Yi probably didn't have those feelings for her at first, but after what happened with Zhu Ruming, she naturally became wary and attributed Lin Yi to a wealthy kid who wanted to seduce her. As a result, a series of events happened by chance. Lin Yi helped her several times, and the relationship between the two seemed to have become much closer. But the real breakthrough in their relationship was probably when Lin Yi first came to her house. When she saw Xiaofan trying to jump off the building, was that when she started to like Lin Yi? Tang Yun shook her head. She couldn't quite remember, not knowing how she'd fallen for Lin Yi and ended up with him. As if mumbling to herself, or perhaps reminiscing, Tang Yun recounted her story with Lin Yi to Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao. It wasn't until then that Chu Mengyao understood how helpless and frustrated Tang Yun felt when Zhu Ruiming harassed her. Because of her status, she'd never imagined a boy could be so mean, so unethical, so shameless when pursuing a girl. Besides Zhong Pinliang, Chu Mengyao had no other harassers at school. Everyone knew her status, and no one dared to do anything to her. Even Zhong Pinliang, with Chen Yushu teasing him daily, never felt helpless or fearful. But if Zhong Pinliang, despite being a wealthy daughter, dared kidnap her, wouldn't Zhu Ruiming be even more unscrupulous when it came to Tang Yun without his status and background? If Lin Yi hadn't appeared, one could imagine what would have happened to Tang Yun now. Previously, Chu Mengyao had felt that the stories of school bullies raping and molesting girls were far away from her, even thinking some of them were just rumors. But now, after listening to Tang Yun's words, she realized that these things were actually happening around her, but she had never understood them. Thinking about the relationship between Lin Yi and Tang Yun, it was truly a beautiful love story. The hero rescues the beauty. It was very cliché. But it was also an unchanging plot that had been passed down through the ages. Wasn't the legend of the white snake also like this? After listening to Tang Yun's narration, Chu Mengyao didn't hate her so much anymore, and even felt a little sympathy. But sympathy was sympathy, but who would sympathize with her? She finally had a feeling of being cared for and cherished, and she wouldn't let anyone take it away. Oh, if anyone pursues you again, leave it to me. I guarantee they'll come back empty-handed. Look, two of Sister Yao's suitors have already had their kidneys removed, Chen Yushu said. I specialize in dealing with bad guys. Although Chen Yushu's words were joking, Chu Mengyao heard the underlying meaning, and Tang Yun was sure she could also hear it. She could ward off harassment from her romantic rivals without Lin Yi. There are no more, Tang Yun thought. Chen Yushu wasn't stupid at all, she was terrifyingly clever. It was hard to tell which of her words were true and which were false. What seemed like a joke actually held so much meaning. Oh, that's pointless, Chen Yushu said disappointedly. Zhong Pinliang is disabled, and Zhu Ruiming has become a coward. I don't know who to play with in school anymore. Zia Oshu, your job is to study hard, not to play with people, Chu Mengyao said to Chen Yushu. Okay, then I won't play anymore. I'll listen to Sister Yao. Chen Yushu nodded, then said to Lin Yi, Brother Arrow, you have to study hard too, otherwise you won't be able to get into the same university as us. Tang Yun was a little speechless. Get into university? Are you going to never let Lin Yi go for the rest of your life? Let him be your lifelong follower? What's the point of getting into university? Watch him philandering, Chu Mengyao frowned and said subconsciously. But after she finished speaking, she felt something was wrong. Tang Yun was still sitting opposite her. Wasn't she referring to Lin Yi and Tang Yun when she said this? But fortunately, before Tang Yun could speak, Chen Yushu spoke first. Yes, classmate Tang Yun, do you really like Brother Arrow? Do you want to be with him for the rest of your life? Chapter 719 I can't accompany you forever. Of course I do, Tang Yun nodded. This was her decision all along. Now that she had taken the step, she had to stick with it. If Lin Yi didn't want her, she would die in front of him. Oh, then can you accept Brother Arrow being a philanderer? Chen Yushu continued, or rather, can you accept him having other wives, huh? Tang Yun was stunned by Chen Yushu's question. What kind of question was that? What did she mean by accepting him having other wives? How could she possibly accept that? I'm sure it's not just her, other girls wouldn't accept it either, right? No. Tang Yun was about to say, of course I can't accept it, but she immediately held it back. Could this be a trap set by Chen Yushu? Apparently, there were indeed girls who could accept Lin Yi having other wives, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. Hadn't they always claimed to be Lin Yi's first and second wives? And they were even going to play some threesome together. Tang Yun was a little confused. This Chen Yushu wasn't as silly as she looked. Talking to her was downright terrifying. If you don't look well, you'll fall into a trap. Each of Chen Yushu's questions was so tricky and difficult to answer. Tang Yun wondered, if she said she couldn't accept it, what if Chen Yushu used that as an excuse to criticize her? She might say, you don't accept it, but we do. Wouldn't that make her seem a little petty and weak? But if she said she could accept it, Tang Yun couldn't quite accept it. Why? Why should she accept another wife? Would that just cause trouble for herself? But seeing Chen Yushu looking at her, Tang Yun knew she couldn't stay silent. She had already made up her mind to be Feng Xiaoxiao's mistress, so what did accepting any wife matter? So, she gritted her teeth and said reluctantly, "That depends on what kind of wife she is." Tang Yun's answer was ambiguous, leaving the initiative in her hands. In other words, it was up to her to accept or not. She didn't provide any criteria for judging. Even so, Tang Yun's answer surprised Lin Yi. Could Tang Yun really accept him having another woman? "Oh, then what do you think about me being Brother Arrow's concubine? Sister Yao will be the first wife, and you the second wife? Or maybe you can be the first wife, anyway, you guys decide, and I'll just be the concubine," Chen Yushu said. Huh? Tang Yun didn't expect Chen Yushu to say something like that right afterward. Would that put her in a difficult position? Should she say yes or no? If she said yes, she'd still be a little reluctant. If she said no, wouldn't that be telling Chen Yushu she wasn't qualified? Would that be offensive? Xiaoshu. What are you talking about? Chu Mengyao frowned, hearing Chen Yushu's increasingly outrageous remarks, and quickly stopped her from continuing. "Why hasn't the food been served yet? I'll see if I can shut you up later." "Oh, I won't say any more. I'm just saying it casually." Chen Yushu waved her hand, signaling she was done. "Tang Yun, Xiaoshu is like this. She talks nonsense all day long. I almost want to send her to a mental hospital," Chu Mengyao explained with a blush. Chen Yushu had taken her there before, which made Chu Mengyao feel a little uncomfortable. "Oh, Sister Yao, don't send me to a mental hospital," Chen Yushu exclaimed. "There's nothing fun in there." Chu Mengyao was speechless, and so was Tang Yun. Chen Yushu didn't go to the mental hospital just because there was nothing fun there? Nothing. "I've started to get used to it," Tang Yun touched her forehead and said with a wry smile. Lin Yi didn't interrupt at the side. Why should he interrupt? This topic seemed to be very beneficial to him. Soon, the food came up, and the shark meat that Chen Yushu ordered alone was also placed on the table. After a while, all the dishes were ready. It must be said that the efficiency of Pengzhan Hotel is still very good. "Okay, the dishes are here. I wanted to say a few words of thanks, but I'm not very good with the words. Lin Yi knows that. I don't talk much." Chu Mengyao wanted to say something before the meal, but she rarely spoke in situations like this, so she didn't know what to say. However, before she could finish, she saw Chen Yushu secretly picking up a piece of shark meat and putting it in her mouth. Chu Mengyao was so angry that she hit Chen Yushu's hand with her chopsticks, knocking the shark meat into her bowl. "Xiaoshu, what are you doing? I want to taste it to see if it's delicious," Chen Yushu grimaced, rubbing her wrist. "Oh, I almost broke it. How can you eat before the guests?" Chu Mengyao scolded. "How should I know? Don't I always eat first at home?" Chen Yushu said weakly. "It's okay, let her eat." Tang Yun, feeling sorry for Chen Yushu, stopped Chu Mengyao's anger. She didn't really have any rules. It didn't matter who ate first. "Sorry about Xiaoshu," Chu Mengyao rubbed her temples. "You need to be mentally strong to live with her." Tang Yun shook her head. Chen Yushu was indeed a bit quirky, but living with her would certainly be fun. Everything has two sides. However, Tang Yun immediately put the thought out of her mind. Living with Chen Yushu? Could she really make her Lin Yi's concubine? Chen Yushu continued to eat the shark meat, but after one bite, she shook her head. "It's not as good as what Wrigley brother made. Lin Yi can't be with you forever. You have to learn to adapt to life." Chu Mengyao glared at Chen Yushu and said. Chen Yushu fell silent and continued to eat the shark meat. The atmosphere became a little dull. Tang Yun didn't know what to say. Looking at Chen Yushu's pitiful appearance, she couldn't persuade her. Would she let Lin Yi be her nanny for the rest of her life? What would she do then? Although Chu Mengyao tried her best to maintain the atmosphere of the meal, the more she did so, the more strange the atmosphere seemed. Tang Yun also felt a little uncomfortable. She felt that Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu were really two strong rivals. When the bill was paid after the meal, Chu Mengyao took out her VIP card, which surprised the waiter in charge of the private room. She didn't expect Chu Mengyao to have a diamond card here. Diamond cards are only a small number of VIP cards issued by Pengzhan Group. There are less than 100 cards issued in total. Diamond card holders can enjoy a series of member services such as dedicated VIP channels, dedicated VIP rooms, dedicated chefs, etc., and enjoy a 50% discount on the entire order. This card is valid in all industries of Pengzhan Group, But there is no need to worry about counterfeiting, because each card has identification information. Just scan it on the computer and you can display the identity and information of the card holder. Chapter 720 Pig Brain. The waiter's attitude was noticeably more respectful than before. He carefully took Chu Mengyao's diamond card and bowed as he exited the private room. A moment later, the door opened again, and it wasn't the waiter from before who entered, but a middle-aged man. He quickly approached Chu Mengyao and said respectfully, "Miss, you're here. Why didn't you call me so I could arrange a VIP room upstairs?" This middle-aged man was the general manager of Pengzhan Business Hotel. His surname was Liu, and he was in his mid-30s, looking shrewd and capable. Chu Pengzhan was now at the peak of his power within the group, and many decisions on the board of directors rested solely on his shoulders. As a result, the heads of the subordinate businesses felt insecure, and those who had previously been close to other shareholders were now tempted to join him. There was no other way. Chu Pengzhan was not only the largest shareholder on the board of directors, but also held the power of decision-making power through the second largest shareholder, Lin Yi. This effectively gave him the two most important votes, making it difficult for others to object. Manager Liu didn't know that the group's second largest shareholder was actually sitting right in front of him. If he knew, he'd probably be terrified. "I don't want to bother you," Chu Mengyao frowned. She hadn't expected Manager Liu to come in person. If she had known, she wouldn't have taken out her VIP card. Chu Mengyao didn't want to go to the VIP room. She really didn't want to go. Being recognized as a young lady and surrounded by people like a star wasn't something she really liked. So, Chu Mengyao chose to keep a low profile and request a room for herself. But with Manager Liu's arrival, Chu Mengyao was afraid Tang Yun would misunderstand and think she was looking down on her by not taking her to the VIP room. The young lady hesitated for a moment, then came up with a solution. "Manager Liu, do you still have a VIP card? Apply for one for my friend. I'll talk to Uncle Fu." While the heads of these businesses were authorized to recommend and issue group VIP cards, the top-tier diamond card required approval from the group headquarters. Therefore, Manager Liu wouldn't apply for a diamond card unless the client was very important. Since Chu Mengyao wanted to greet Uncle Fu, she naturally needed a diamond card. Manager Liu readily agreed. How could the company disapprove of something the eldest lady had asked? Besides, she was going to tell Uncle Fu about it. Tang Yun didn't think much of it. If Chu Mengyao had acted like a young lady the moment she arrived, it would have seemed like she was showing off. Instead, Tang Yun felt the eldest lady was being quite low-key. Downstairs, at the bar, Tang Yun realized the VIP card Chu Mengyao had requested was for her. She quickly shook her head. "Give it to me. I can't afford it. The prices here are too high." She honestly said it wasn't anything to be ashamed of. The eldest lady surely knew her family's situation. "You can also go to the Pengzhan department store and get discounts there," Chu Mengyao explained. "I usually buy things at the night market." Tang Yun declined, believing it was of little use to her, and considering the card was valuable, she didn't want to owe Chu Mengyao a favor. "Then let's do it for Lin Yi." Since Chu Mengyao had already mentioned it, it was difficult to deny it. The same was true for Lin Yi. Manager Liu thought the name Lin Yi sounded familiar, as if he'd heard it somewhere before. However, he couldn't ask any more questions in front of the young lady, so he quickly applied for a diamond card for Lin Yi. After the young lady left, Manager Liu picked up the phone to report the matter to Uncle Fu. Uncle Fu's response to Lin Yi startled Manager Liu. Lin Yi was the second largest shareholder of the group, a figure he'd only briefly mentioned. Rumor had it he was Chu Pengzhan's son-in-law. Did someone like that even need a membership card? However, considering the young lady's low profile, and the likelihood that Lin Yi was similarly modest, Manager Liu felt incredibly honored to have been able to issue a card for the group's second largest shareholder, especially since he, Liu, had been the introducer. Li Yi watched Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, Chen Yushu, and Tang Yun leave the restaurant. He regretted his preconceived notions, and felt a pang of fear as he watched his reckless subordinates scattered around. But he didn't forget Lin Yi's words and quickly picked up the phone to call his cousin. There were so many silver needles stuck in his hands and body, and he didn't know what was so special about them. But he didn't dare to pull them out casually. After all, Lin Yi had told him that if he pulled them out, he would die. Although he didn't quite believe it, thinking of Lin Yi's fierce skills, he couldn't help but believe it. The reason was simple. Li Yi was the leader of these people. Lin Yi had even knocked these men to the ground, leaving them for dead. How could he possibly let him, the leader, go? Hello? Lazy? What's going on? Li Shihu is worried. The poisoning attempt had failed, and he didn't know how to deal with Lin Yi next. At this moment, he received a call from his cousin, and he didn't know what he would do. Cousin, please help me. My place has been smashed, and I'm covered in silver needles. I dare not pull them out, Li Yi said with a sad face. His only hope was to let Li Shihu avenge him. The place was smashed? You were stabbed with silver needles? What does that mean? What happened? Can you tell me in detail? Li Shihu was shocked. The more worried you are, the more trouble you will get into. His brother usually has no problems. People in the underworld know that he is his cousin and they all give him some face. Why did he get into trouble today? Here's what happened. Li Yi did not dare to hide anything. He told Li Shihu everything about his lust for a woman. It was impossible to hide this. There were also people affiliated with Li Shihu in the Western restaurant. This card man was Li Shihu's direct subordinate, who was just sent to watch over him. Shit. You are such a pig-brained person. You have nothing to do all day long, don't you? There are women everywhere. You go to tease customers, aren't you afraid of ruining the business? Don't you know that your Western restaurant has to pay money to the boss every month? Li Shihu was furious. His brother was so arrogant. But he couldn't just ignore his brother when something happened to him. They stuck silver needles in your hands and body? You won't go to the hospital? What's the point of calling me? Li Yi was stunned. Yes, why was he so obedient? What he should do now is go to the hospital, not call his cousin. His cousin is not a doctor, and he can't treat the silver needles in his body. Whether there is any problem with these silver needles, won't it be clear at a glance when he goes to the hospital? Chapter 721 Nothing happened? Thinking of this, Li Yi hung up the phone, found a younger brother who was not lying on the ground, and rushed to the First People's Hospital with him. Under the surprised eyes of everyone, Li Yi felt very embarrassed. Everyone in the hospital looked at him as if he were a monster. After all, his body was covered with silver needles, like a hedgehog. People who didn't know the truth thought something was wrong with him. Li Yi didn't dare to stay and went directly to the surgical clinic. He was a gangster, and his men often got hurt in conflicts with others, so he was very familiar with the surgeons here. Brother Wang, help me check the silver needles on my body. Li Yi saw an acquaintance, Dr. Wang from the surgery department, who was also familiar with Li Yi. Dr. Wang happened to have nothing to do, and when he saw Li Yi come in, he was obviously stunned. He couldn't help but ask curiously, Boss Li, what's wrong with you? Did you go for acupuncture? What the hell is acupuncture? I was stabbed. Li Yi was speechless. Thinking of Lin Yi, he was so angry that his teeth itched. That person told me not to pull it out, saying that I would die if I pulled it out. That's why I rushed to the hospital. Dr. Wang, you are knowledgeable, can you help me take a look? I will die if I pull it out. This was the first time Dr. Wang heard of this. There were a few silver needles stuck in the body. There was nothing wrong when they were inserted. How could I die if I pulled it out? It's alarmist, right? Dr. Wang didn't quite believe it, but after hearing Li Yi's serious words, he didn't dare to neglect it. I have never seen it before. How about I ask the director of our department to come and take a look for you? That's fine. Thank you, Brother Wang. Li Yi felt that his matter was a bit embarrassing and didn't want too many people to know. But since it was a matter of life and death, he couldn't care less. After a while, Dr. Wang brought an old man over and examined Li Yi. The old man couldn't see anything special about the silver needles. He didn't think there was anything special about them. If they were poisonous, Li Yi would have died long ago. It wouldn't make a difference whether the needles were removed or not. If they weren't poisonous, he wouldn't die even if they were removed. The needles were only inserted very shallowly under the skin, not damaging his internal organs. How could he die if they were removed? However, the old man was no fool. Knowing Li Yi's condition, he didn't make any promises. I personally think it's fine. I can remove them for you. But if anything happens after you remove them, our hospital won't be responsible. This, Li Yi suddenly felt a little guilty. He had thought that a few small silver needles would be fine if they were removed at the hospital, but the hospital's old experts said they were not sure. How could he dare to remove them? Li Yi had no choice but to call Li Shihu again. Cousin, I'm in the hospital. But the hospital staff said they're not responsible for anything that goes wrong after the needles are removed, Li Yi said anxiously. Brother, can you help me think of a solution? Li Shihu hadn't expected his cousin to be so cowardly, but hearing how serious he'd been, it was hard not to ignore him. Wait a minute, I'll go check it out. Li Shihu asked Li Yi which hospital and ward he was in, then rushed over. When Li Shihu saw Li Yi, she was also startled by his appearance. Isn't that a hedgehog? Why is he covered in thorns? The hospital can't remove it either. Li Shihu looked at the needles on Li Yi's body and didn't see anything wrong. Yes, Brother Wang and the experts said they're not sure, and if anything goes wrong, they're not responsible. Li Yi nodded. Wait a minute, I'll go ask. Li Shihu turned and entered the surgical office, where he saw Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang naturally knew Li Shihu, a prominent figure in the city. He didn't dare neglect him and quickly rose to greet him. Brother Shihu, Dr. Wang, how is my cousin doing? Li Shihu nodded, not bothering with small talk and asking directly. Actually, in my opinion, it's nothing serious, Dr. Wang said frankly. The needles weren't inserted deep enough to damage his internal organs, so the idea that he'd die if they were removed is basically nonsense. And as for the needles being poisonous, that doesn't really matter whether they were removed or not. He'd still be poisoned if they weren't removed. Besides, Mr. Li had needles on his hands, and there wasn't anything fatal on them. Oh? So what do you mean? Li Shihu agreed that Dr. Wang's words made sense. What could possibly be fatal on a hand? The key issue now is that your brother's claims are terrifying, saying he'd die if they were removed. No one can afford that responsibility. It's better to be safe than sorry, isn't it? Dr. Wang said with a wry smile. Li Shihu nodded. He understood Dr. Wang's dilemma. Li Yi was his cousin, and if anything went wrong, he was afraid he would get in trouble with him. How about this? Let's remove the silver needles from his hand first. I don't think anything will go wrong, and even if something does go wrong, I'll be responsible. How about that? Li Shihu asked after a moment's hesitation. He couldn't just let his brother go on like this, could he? It had to be resolved. After things were resolved here, Li Shihu had to go back to Bingxiao to discuss countermeasures. Lin Yi had to deal with him. Now it wasn't just a matter of breaking Bingxiao's legs and killing Zhang Long and Li Yao, it was a whole building. Lin Yi casually used a few bulldozers and bombs, and over 100 million was directly reimbursed. Bingxiao only demolished his girlfriend's bungalow, but he demolished an entire building. How cruel. He can actually remove the silver needles himself. How about Brother Shihu? Can you help? Dr. Wang naturally refused to do it. Who would take such a risk? Okay, then you help keep an eye on it. If there's any problem, we can deal with it in time. Li Shihu nodded and agreed. Li Yi saw his cousin and Dr. Wang coming out together, and asked quickly, Brother, what's wrong? Let me help you pull out the silver needle on your hand first. There's nothing fatal on your hand, so it should be fine. Many people are still alive even with broken hands and feet, aren't they? Li Shihu said. Li Yi thought about it and it made sense, so he nodded and agreed, saying to Li Shihu, okay, pull out the one on your hand first. Pulling out a silver needle was not a big deal. Li Shihu easily pulled out the silver needle on Li Yi's left hand. There wasn't even a drop of blood on Li Yi's hand. Isn't it nothing? Li Yi said with some joy and disdain. Damn it, I thought there was some mystery, but it turned out to be a lie. It's killing me. It doesn't hurt at all, not even a drop of blood. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 722 can't be cured. Only a fool like you could believe that. Li Shihu snorted coldly. Haven't you seen Flirting Scholar? Isn't that what happened with the smiling half-skeptic in the film? Li Yi blushed immediately. He was too cautious. He was so embarrassed that he could still be deceived. If this got out, how could he still have the face to survive in the underworld? I'm sorry, brother, I've troubled you, Li Yi said embarrassedly, and then turned to Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang, I hope you can keep this a secret. Don't worry, it's the doctor's duty to keep confidentiality for his patients, let alone Mr. Li. Dr. Wang was naturally happy to pretend he didn't know. This matter had nothing to do with him. Okay, stop standing here and embarrassing yourself. Why don't you quickly remove the remaining silver needles? Li Shihu said, glaring at Li Yi. Yes, yes, Li Yi nodded repeatedly, and wanted to use his left hand without the silver needle to remove the silver needles in other parts of his body, but just as he raised his arm, he unexpectedly found that his left hand was not working. He wanted to pinch the silver needles on his body with his fingers, but his fingers had no feeling at all, and even his whole hand had no feeling at all. What are you doing? Li Shihu saw that Li Yi did not move, and did not know what was wrong with him. Brother, my hand can't move. Li Yi stared at his left hand in horror. His left hand had no feeling at all. The arm can move, but above the wrist, it is completely out of control. Can't move? What do you mean? Li Shihu was stunned and asked. Brother, my left hand can't move, as if it is not mine. I don't feel anything at all, Li Yi said, shaking his left arm, but his left hand still had no feeling at all. How is this possible? Li Shihu frowned, carefully examining Li Yi's left hand. Finding nothing wrong, she turned to Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang, what do you think is going on? Dr. Wang was also baffled. Before the needles were removed, Li Yi's hand was fine. How could it have gone numb the moment they were removed? Is it numb? Let's wait and see. Dr. Wang had never seen anything like this before. No, it's definitely not numb. If it were numb, it would feel numb. I don't feel anything at all right now. It's like this hand isn't mine anymore. Li Yi shook his head repeatedly. Is it related to the needles? Li Shihu looked at Li Yi's hand suspiciously. It's hard to say. Dr. Wang wasn't sure if it was related. He had never seen anything like this before. So now, Li Shihu hoping Dr. Wang had a solution. We can only take an X-ray. If there's nothing wrong, we'll do a full examination and wait for the results, Dr. Wang suggested. Alright, Li Shihu nodded and instructed Dr. Wang to take Li Yi for an examination. As for the other silver needles in Li Yi's body, he didn't dare remove them, leaving them in place for now. While it might be unsightly and conspicuous, who could guarantee that removing them wouldn't result in a recurrence of the same numbness in his left hand? Whether the two were related was unclear at this point. Li Yi's examination results came back quickly, but they left both Li Yi and Li Shihu pale. Necrosis of the nerve tissue in the hand? The Li brothers' eyes widened at the report. That's just the nerves, but a systematic examination shows the muscle tissue in the hand is also showing signs of necrosis. Dr. Wang was baffled. A single prick of a silver needle could cause complete nerve and muscle necrosis? Wasn't that a bit too unbelievable? Strangest of all, the silver needles weren't poisonous at all, they were just ordinary needles. So what should we do now? Can it be cured? Li Shihu asked. You can try, but it's best to remove the left hand immediately to prevent the necrotic tissue from affecting the arm, Dr. Wang said. Li Shihu frowned, horrified. Who on earth had Li Yi offended to be persecuted like this? He couldn't help but look at Li Yi and asked, what's the other party's background? Who did you offend? I don't know. They just came to eat. Li Yi was also very scared. When he heard Dr. Wang say that he might have to remove his palm, he was immediately dumbfounded. Isn't this too scary? Come to eat? Think carefully, do you have any information? What's the other party's name? What does she look like? Li Shihu asked. The other party, I remember. There seems to be a woman named Tang Yun among those people. Li Yi is very sensitive to the names of beautiful women, so he remembered Tang Yun's name. Tang Yun, Li Shihu's expression froze. It can't be such a coincidence. Tang Yun? Isn't it Lin Yi's girlfriend? Yes, that's the name. I can't remember the name of the man who attacked me, but I think his surname seems to be Lin. Li Yi didn't notice his cousin's expression, and closed his eyes, trying to recall. Lin? Is his name Lin Yi? Li Shihu took a deep breath, trying to control his emotions. Yes, his name is Lin Yi. Brother, do you know this person? Can you ask him to save me? Li Yi was immediately delighted when he heard that his cousin seemed to know this person, and he said quickly. I know him. A complicated look flashed in Li Shihu's eyes, but he won't come to save you, won't come. Li Yi suddenly felt desperate. Why? Brother, please beg him. I can give him as much money as he wants. I can even have a wine party to apologize to him. I don't want to be without hands. He and I have a big grudge. No wonder he wasn't afraid after hearing my name, but wanted to kill you. Li Shihu sighed. You shouldn't have mentioned my name. You're asking for trouble. A big grudge? Li Yi was also dumbfounded. How could he know that Lin Yi and Li Shihu had a grudge? In the past, every time he mentioned his cousin's name, Others would give him face. Li Yi never expected to meet Li Shihu's enemy. At this point, I can only beg for help. Li Shihu had no choice. After hearing that it was Lin Yi who did it, he gave up the idea of letting Li Yi stay in the hospital any longer. Lin Yi was at least a Xuanyuan-level expert. How could an ordinary hospital be able to break his attack? Wasting time here was pointless and would only delay Li Yi's condition. It would be better to ask for help from the young master and see if he could get the Medicine King to help. Chapter 723 Seeking Help from the Medicine King. Li Shihu immediately called Bing Xiao. After hearing about Li Yi's situation, Bing Xiao agreed to let Yao Wang take a look at him. After all, half of Li Yi's super cool couple Western restaurants revenue went to the Zhao family. As an illegitimate son of the Zhao family, Bing Xiao naturally couldn't ignore his subordinates working for the Zhao family. Furthermore, Li Shihu wanted to introduce her cousin to Bing Xiao, believing that working under him would offer a promising future. Li Yi breathed a sigh of relief upon learning of Bing Xiao's willingness to help. Hearing that Bing Xiao was surrounded by experts, he wasn't worried about his own problems being unresolved. In a private room behind the powerful floating cloud bar, Yao Wang frowned as he observed the pain on Li Yi's body. Yao Wang, how is it? My cousin's problem. Li Shihu realized the problem was serious when Yao Wang remained silent. Yao Wang came from an ancient family of healers. He was proficient not only in poisoning and medication, but also in medical techniques, especially in the art of harming others. So, when the Medicine King heard that Li Yi had been tampered with several silver needles inserted into his body, and that his left hand had become numb after being removed, he didn't think much of it. He thought it was some kind of strange poison or acupressure technique. Speaking of harming people, his family had a long history of doing so what could he not solve? These were just small tricks. However, when the Medicine King saw Li Yi, he realized his assumptions were too simple. The silver needles in Li Yi's body were not poisonous. The Medicine King had already tested this on mice using the removed needle. And it didn't seem likely that the silver needles had caused this. Li Yi's hand was clearly not immobilized by acupressure, but had already begun to slowly necrotize. The entire hand had taken on a dark purple hue, as if the tissue had been destroyed. Not optimistic, the other party is a master. Who did this? Do you know their details? The Medicine King was not optimistic. This kind of harming method was unprecedented for him, far surpassing anything he had seen in his sect. It was simply unbelievable. Lin Yi. Li Shihu's teeth itched with hatred when he mentioned this name. What? Lin Yi. The Medicine King was familiar with this name. Zubo was beaten half to death by Lin Yi and was still lying in bed. Zhao Kaibing's legs were also broken by Lin Yi and he could only recuperate in a wheelchair. Lin Yi again. Zhao Kaibing, who was standing by, felt a little upset when he heard this name. Isn't he injured? How could he still hurt others? It's hard to say. The Medicine King shook his head. Judging from the skills of this silver needle, Lin Yi might be a master of medicine himself. So, in your opinion, Lin Yi recovered his strength on his own? Zhao Kaibing's eyes widened, and Zubo, who was lying on the hospital bed, almost vomited blood after hearing this. Zubo was so wronged. He almost died and met the King of Hell, but Lin Yi was fine, alive and well, and could still hurt others? Is there any justice anymore? I'm not sure if he's regained his strength, but even if he hasn't, I'm afraid it won't affect his mobility. The Medicine King's expression was solemn as he carefully examined the silver needles on Li Yi's body. Of course, the most tragic person was Li Yi. Even the Medicine King couldn't help him. Wasn't he just waiting to die? His left hand had turned black and purple, clearly necrotic. He was definitely going to lose it. But now Li Yi was no longer in the mood to worry about losing his hand. He was just happy to save his life. Young Master Bing, Medicine King. Save me. Li Yi's face was immediately covered in snot and tears. He was terrified. Huh? The Medicine King was suddenly stunned, his expression becoming even more solemn. There's a fluctuation of true qi under the silver needle. Li Yi was just an ordinary person, without any internal or external martial arts training, so there couldn't be any true qi in his body. Even if there was a trace of true qi, it would be unnoticeable. But the Medicine King felt a clear fluctuation of true qi under the silver needle. What was going on? What do you mean? Medicine King, my cousin can be saved? Li Shihu was stunned and asked quickly. Li Yi also looked at the Medicine King eagerly. He didn't want to die. I'm not sure yet, but I need to study it, the Medicine King said. I'm going to pull out another silver needle. but it might cause the same consequences as this left hand, or maybe I can find a way to solve it, huh? Lin Yi was a little dumbfounded. If he pulled out another one, where should he pull it out? Looking at the silver needles all over his body, he really couldn't decide where to pull it out. Think about it yourself, this is the only way, said the Medicine King. Or pull out the silver needles in the left arm. After all, the left hand is already disabled, and losing another left arm won't have much impact. Li Shihu thought for a moment and asked. Okay, Lin Yi gritted his teeth. There was no other way. He couldn't stay up at night, could he? What if he accidentally knocked all the silver needles off while sleeping? Then he would be dead. The Medicine King nodded, motioning for Li Yi to extend his left arm. He then swiftly removed the silver needle from Li Yi's arm. With the needle removed, the Medicine King struck again with lightning speed, grasping Li Yi's arm where the needle had been inserted. Ah, my left arm can't move either. Li Yi had anticipated this outcome and had been somewhat hopeful. Now that his left arm had lost all feeling, he felt truly overwhelmed. Medicine King, how is it? Li Shihu asked hurriedly when he saw the Medicine King open his eyes. My left arm is useless. The Medicine King took a deep breath and said, but I have a rough idea of their methods. Oh? What methods did they use? Li Shihu asked. Lin Yi attached his true energy to the tip of the silver needle and absorbed it into Li Yi's body, then used the silver needle to seal the true energy so that it would not spread in Li Yi's body. Medicine King said, as soon as the silver needle is pulled out, the true energy will spread rapidly. But Li Yi is an ordinary person, and his body tissues simply cannot withstand the invasion of such a powerful true energy. This caused the huge amount of true energy to instantly burst his meridians and muscle tissues, causing nerve and tissue necrosis. He had felt it with his hands before. Although there was true energy fluctuation on the silver needle before, it was only at one point. However, after the silver needle was pulled out, the true energy at this point spread rapidly in a radioactive state. Ah, Li Shihu and Li Yi were a little stunned. They could understand Medicine King's explanation, but they found it a little unbelievable. Is this possible? Reading martial arts novels? Is there a way to save him? Chapter 724 Even the gods can't save him. Lin Yi is a master of medicine, probably as skilled as I am. I can see through this method of harming people, but I don't have a solution, at least not yet. The Medicine King gave a wry smile. Not only himself, but even his own master probably couldn't pull such a trick. This method was too shady. Withdraw the needle and he'll die. Zubo was also inexplicably surprised. Only then did he realize that his defeat was justified. The opponent was a master of medicine as skilled as the Medicine King. How could he be alive and kicking? What should we do now? Li Shihu asked. For now, the Medicine King shook his head. Unless someone can dissolve this hanky within Li Yi's body the moment I withdraw the needle, otherwise it will spread and cause severe damage to his body and meridians. Li Shihu's face turned grim. Even the Medicine King couldn't do anything, so how could Li Yi be saved? He couldn't remove these silver needles for a day or two, but he couldn't keep them there forever, could he? Judging from the placement of the needles, Li Yi's entire body would likely be necrotic after they were removed, making him completely hopeless. The one who caused the trouble must be the one who caused it. He and I don't belong to the same sect, so our methods of harming people are different. I don't understand their methods, and I'm truly powerless to help. The Medicine King blamed the fact that he wasn't a fellow disciple of Lin Yi. His inability to solve the problem wasn't due to his own incompetence, but rather the fact that each sect's methods differed. Medicine King, are you suggesting that I go find Lin Yi? Li Shihu's expression was a bit strange. Would going to Lin Yi be of any use now? Their hatred was irreconcilable, how could it be resolved? Or, I could ask someone from my own sect to see if they have any solution, the Medicine King said. Then I'll trouble you, Medicine King. Li Shihu thanked him hastily. Even if there was a shred of hope, he wouldn't have bothered to ask Lin Yi for help, as going to him would have been tantamount to humiliating himself. I can only ask. After all, different sects have different research directions, the Medicine King said. Excusing his sect I understand. Li Shihu nodded. The Medicine King then called his master for advice, but they didn't have any reliable solutions. Firstly, they hadn't seen Li Yi in person, and secondly, they had never heard of such a method before. How is it? Li Shihu hurriedly inquired after the Medicine King finished his call. Li Yi's face was filled with anticipation. There's a way, but it's impossible to execute. The Medicine King wouldn't just say there was no way, as that would make his master seem incompetent. Impossible? No matter how difficult it is, as long as Li Delei's life is saved, it's all that matters, Li Shihua said quickly. What do you need? Medicine King, just ask. I need a master above the earth rank to rapidly dissolve Li Delei's internal ki while I remove the needle, the Medicine King said, but this would require a significant loss of ki from that person. Generally, no one would risk their strength to undertake this. The Medicine King's suggestion was a relatively common method, but when it came to actually carrying it out, no one would take the risk. After all, whose strength wasn't cultivated through painstaking practice? Why waste your true energy for an outsider? Would that be stupid? Medicine King's words were like a bucket of cold water, making Li Chihua lose his temper instantly. Where can he find a master of earth rank? Zhuan rank is rare, let alone earth rank. Besides, even if he found one, he and Li Delei had no relationship, so how could he risk losing rank to save Li Delei? Li Chihua really didn't want to look for Lin Yi, but he couldn't just watch his cousin die, right? Brother, why don't you look for Lin Yi? It doesn't matter whether it works or not. We have to give it a try. If he doesn't care, I'll die. It's my bad luck. Li Delei didn't have the slightest thought of revenge. The reason was simple. Even Bing Xiao was disabled by Lin Yi. What was he? With his own strength, it was nonsense to seek revenge on Lin Yi. If Lin Yi was so easy to be retaliated, would Bing Xiao still be sitting in a wheelchair? Li Chihua reflected on this and couldn't help but look at Bing Xiao. After all, Bing Xiao and Lin Yi had a deep grudge. If he went to Lin Yi now to ask for help, wouldn't that be a sign of weakness? Delay has done a lot for the Zhao family. I can't just stand by and watch them perish, can I? Bing Xiao waved his hand and said, just pretend I don't know. This is a good opportunity to test Lin Yi. It must be said that Bing Xiao was very good at winning people over. It was precisely because of this that the Zhong father and son risked their lives for him. He did Li Chihua and Li Delei a favor without spending a penny. Li Chihua and Li Delei were truly grateful. Li Chihua said, thank you, Bing Xiao. We brothers are so lucky to have you working for us. Alright, hurry up and find Lin Yi. Earning more money for the Zhao family and me is better than anything else. Bing Xiao waved his hand. His hatred for Lin Yi intensified, and he wondered how he could eliminate this troublesome Lin Yi once and for all. It would be best if he could use a fatal move, leaving him no chance to fight back. Otherwise, with a dangerous man like Lin Yi in Songshan City, he would be hesitant to do anything. He didn't know how he ran into Lin Yi. If he got beaten by him again, would he still be alive? Li Chihua didn't dare to neglect it and directly dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi's phone number was not confidential and it was easy to check. Li Chihua had already learned about it from Jianwen. Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao, Chen Yusu, and Tang Yun had just gotten into the car when their cell phones rang. They picked it up and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. Hello, Lin Yi answered the phone. Lin Yi? This is Li Chihua. Although Li Chihua was furious in his heart, he looked very calm on the surface. Oh, brother Chihua, what's the matter? Lin Yi heard Li Chihua's calm tone and asked lightly, as if he didn't know the purpose of Li Chihua's call. However, the call of brother Chihua sounded a bit ironic to Li Chihua. Did Lin Yi need to call him brother? It seemed that he didn't need to at all. This was the second time that Li Chihua had a direct conversation with Lin Yi. The first time was in the Jelly Fuyan bar. He used both threats and inducements, but Lin Yi ignored him and killed 2 yellow-level masters beside him. Li Chihua suffered a heavy loss. Forget it, let's not beat around the bush. It was you who caused the injury to my cousin Li Delei. Li Chihua simply stopped pretending. The conflict between him and Lin Yi was no longer reconcilable. Is he injured? He was alive and well when I left. Lin Yi smiled. By the way, you wouldn't be stupid enough to pull out the silver needles from his body, would you? That would be a pity. Even gods can't save him. Chapter 725, making him worse than dead. Li Chihua was so angry, it was really this fool who pulled it out. However, he knew that he couldn't get angry at this moment. Lin Yi, I hope you can let my cousin go. I don't want to involve other people in the grudge between us. Are you an idiot? Lin Yi became impatient after hearing what Li Chihua said. If I count what happened between us, he is already dead. Can he still stand there and wait for you to find out? Besides, I got rid of him because you provoked me. Li Chihua was choked by Lin Yi and couldn't speak. It must be said that Lin Yi's words were very irritating. Then can you forgive him? Li Shihu coughed twice and said a little embarrassedly. He's not dead, why should I spare him? If he's going to die, you don't have to call me, Lin Yi said. Besides, don't you have a master by your side? He can make the 7 herbs death powder, but can't solve this little problem? Well, I'm busy, the beauty needs me to drive, bye. After Lin Yi finished speaking, he hung up the phone without waiting for Li Shihu to say anything. Li Shihu looked at the phone with the call interrupted, feeling very depressed. You are busy? Do you think you are a cowboy? But he didn't dare to say this, and had to continue calling Lin Yi. Oh, Brother Arrow, is that mine dead? Chen Yushu asked after Lin Yi finished the call. It seems that he is not dead yet, but he is about to die. Lin Yi didn't know how many silver needles Li Shihu had pulled out. Well, death is boring. It's not fun, Chen Yushu shook her head. Brother Arrow, can you make him suffer a fate worse than death? I think so, Lin Yi said. But I can't see him now, and I'm too lazy to save him. Oh, I bet that Li Shihu will call again. Then you can make his brother suffer a fate worse than death, Chen Yushu suggested. As soon as Chen Yushu finished speaking, Lin Yi's phone rang again. Hey, didn't I tell you I'm busy? You don't understand me, do you? Lin Yi was not polite at all to Li Shihu. Lin Yi, I'm at my wit's end, so I called you. I think you understand that, Li Shihu, afraid that Lin Yi would hang up again, quickly said, save my brother's life. Whatever you want, just tell me. Lin Yi was stunned. It seemed that the expert beside Zhao Kaibing wasn't that great either. At least, not as good as himself. Uncle Tang's leg is broken. You have to pay for the medical expenses. Lin Yi was ready to listen to Chen Yushu's advice and make Li Yi's life worse than death. But a life worse than death is better than death, right? So Lin Yi wasn't going to do it for nothing. He had to make Li Shihu pay a price. No problem, I'll give you 3. Li Shihu was about to say 300,000 yuan when Lin Yi interrupted him. 3 million, how about that? I'll tell you an account. If you don't see the money before dark, you don't have to pay me. Use the money to buy your cousin a nice coffin and burial plot. Lin Yi thought, Tang Yun's family would need at least 1 or 2 million to buy a house, so asking for 3 million wouldn't be too much. He went out for a walk, ran into someone unlucky, and the money for the house came out. Okay. Li Shihu was also a man of great ambitions. He felt a little distressed when he heard Lin Yi ask for 3 million. He needed money right now, but for his brother's life, 3 million was not much. Lin Yi didn't have much cash on hand right now. The 100 million he'd gotten from Liu Xuanyuan, along with the proceeds from the auction, had basically all been invested in the pharmaceutical company. Expanding the company's scale and production would require considerable initial investment. So even though Lin Yi had a large family business, he didn't have much money. Lin Yi texted Li Shihu the bank card number Tang's mother had opened and waited for the money to arrive. Tang Yun wanted to say something, but with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu present, she couldn't say much and just let Lin Yi do what he wanted. Luckily, Tang Yun consoled herself by saying it was compensation for her father's medical expenses, and she felt no burden taking it. Otherwise, if she had taken so much money from Lin Yi, she would have owed him even more. Oh, Wrigley, aren't you going to make him suffer a fate worse than death? Why are you saving him? Chen Yushu asked. Worse than death doesn't mean you've saved him, right? Lin Yi smiled. Ho ha, Chen Yushu burst into laughter upon hearing this. Brother Arrow, you're so mean, almost like me, not as mean as you, Lin Yi shrugged. When it came to playing pranks, Chen Yushu was even better than him. Tang Yun and Chu Mengyao couldn't help but laugh. The young ladies had no concept of money, but they were a little surprised that Lin Yi had swindled 3 million right out of the blue. So Lin Yi was so powerful? He could easily get so much money? And judging by his expression, it seemed he didn't even care about the money. Chu Mengyao became a little nervous. She often threatened to deduct Lin Yi's salary. Did he think it was ridiculous? However, Chu Mengyao was increasingly puzzled as to why Lin Yi came to her side as a henchman. With Lin Yi's skills and methods, there was no need for him to work for her for a salary of 30,000 yuan. Where on earth did Daddy hire such a master? Yao, Zia Oshu, where are you going now? Lin Yi turned and asked. Tang Yun and I are going to the night market to do some shopping. We're going to, right, Sister Yao? Chen Yushu winked at Chu Mengyao. Chu Mengyao was a little eager to go. I want fried mushrooms, Sister Yao, can you come with me? Chen Yushu took Chu Mengyao's hand. Okay, Let's go together, Chu Mengyao nodded. Tang Yun pouted a little unhappily. Why were they going on a date with Lin Yi? But Tang Yun couldn't say anything. The young lady had just treated them, and now she was kicking them out? That would be a bit unkind. Lin Yi didn't say much. If the young lady wanted to go, then go. Lin Yi started the car and drove towards the night market. On the way, Tang Yun received a call from her mother. Mom? What's up? Tang Yun didn't know why her mother would call at this time. Did she know she was going out with Lin Yi? Normally, her mother rarely interrupted her when she was on a date with Lin Yi. Yuner, I just got a text message saying there's a 3 million yuan deposit. What's going on? Is it a scam? Tang's mother wasn't very familiar with mobile banking. Previously, Lin Yi's card had been hidden under the house, so she and Lin Yi had gone to the bank to get another one, this time in her name. At the time, if you signed up for mobile banking, you'd get a barrel of soybean oil for free. Given her frugal nature, she'd naturally signed up straight away. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.